That was the E-Zone with Honeybee and Kareem Boyatings. In the entertainment block on Nationwide 90 FM.
Stop putting off those plumbing projects. Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for plumbing supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the government is allocating an additional $150 million to get water to drought-stricken areas.
$150 million for the trucking of water and procurement and distribution of a limited amount of water tanks.
A special audit of the Houses of Parliament finds a litany of breaches over a 5-year period.
But the retired clerk to the Houses, Valerie Curtis, says some of the breaches are being addressed.
The Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica has censured CVM TV over complaints received by disgruntled subscribers to Verticast C Sport channel.
The Police Commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake, says investigation suggests that allegations Leota Bradshaw is pregnant while in police custody are false.
Our investigation to this point has not shown that there's any truth to the allegation.
In news from the rest of the world, Haitian police recover hijacked cargo ship.
Jacob Zuma wins court battle to stand in South Africa election.
In headline sports, West Indies coach Darren Sammy says the bulk of his World Cup T20 squad is already selected.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, says rumors that murder-accused Leota Bradshaw was impregnated by policemen while in lockup are false.
Our investigation to this point has not shown that there's any truth to the allegation. And so far, the allegation seems to be false.
You'll hear more from the Commissioner's maiden address at the JCF's quarterly media briefing.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask, what's your reaction to female revelers gyrating on policemen working at Carnival Road March on Sunday? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, Leonard Francis has succeeded Peter Knight as head of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. Mr. Francis will join us.
From 7 to 8, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight we'll be looking at herbs for polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS.
Then at 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre McDonald.
And at 9 p.m., it's Affairs of the Heart with Rodney Campbell. Tonight's topic, after 30 and dating, should women increase their standards or lower their expectations?
We'll bring you all these and more as we take you home on air, on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, it's Tuesday, April 9, 2024.
News at 5 is brought to you by the new Crunch Sandwich from KFC. Available in hot and spicy or barbecue for just $600. A finger-licking good deal at KFC.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. The government is allocating an additional $150 million towards drought mitigation efforts. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement in the House of Representatives this afternoon.
To the farmers and rural communities on the front line of this crisis, I give my unwavering commitment to stand by your side and provide the assistance you need to survive and indeed recover and thrive from this drought. That is why the government is implementing a range of measures to support our farmers during these challenging times. This includes the emergency funding, which we will put in place in the amount of $150 million for the trucking of water and procurement and distribution of a limited amount of water tanks. And let me just explain that, Mr. Speaker, we will make an emergency allocation of 150 million Jamaican dollars.
As part of his update regarding the ongoing drought, Mr. Holness says no parish has been spared, but the west of the island has been particularly affected. The program will target the 50 constituencies assessed as most heavily affected. Mr. Holness also announced $60 million to assist the agriculture sector with irrigation. The Prime Minister says projections should see the dry spell ease in a matter of weeks.
The probability for rain in Westmoreland and Hanover continues to be below 50%, in fact, below 40% probability that they will have rain. The rest of the island is in the 40 to 45%, which is still not good, but better than below 40%. And some areas show above 50%. Thankfully, Clarendon and Manchester shows that they will have good probability for rain. So, Mr. Speaker, that the drought conditions will ease in another 4 weeks or so.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has decried as despicable the theft of a water tank from a Negril primary school. He's calling on the police to do a thorough investigation.
I wanted to point out briefly, Mr. Speaker, that we would have seen in the news where a water tank was stolen from the Negril primary school. All I can say about that, Mr. Speaker, is that this is despicable. Despicable. In a period where the country is grappling with this national crisis, someone would seek to deprive a school of its water storage capacity. I urge the police to investigate it thoroughly and recover the tank and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he was speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
A litany of administrative, managerial, human resource and accounting breaches are reported to have transpired at the Houses of Parliament between January 2019 and March this year. That's according to a special internal audit report seen by Nationwide News. The audit was completed last week. The internal auditors were highly critical of the administrative leadership of Parliament over the years, citing a culture of inaction in addressing special concerns raised in successive audits. Some of the breaches, which date back to 2019, were recently flagged as still outstanding, meaning that no corrective action has been taken 5 years after the fact. George Davis reports.
The special audit report covers a period when Valerie Curtis and before her Heather Cook served as a CEO of the Houses of Parliament. It says a review of the administrative management of Parliament has revealed multiple discrepancies relating to the payment of salaries as recently as 2023. According to the report, these discrepancies resulted in a momentous loss of benefits to staff estimated at over $15 million. Up until earlier this week, that issue was flagged by the auditors as a matter which is still outstanding and requires corrective action. The internal auditors also chastised the administrative leadership of Parliament for not displaying the required awareness to respond to breaches identified and failing to take corrective steps. In recommending that steps be taken to ensure the $15 million in outstanding payment to staffers is addressed, the auditors said management should ensure that they themselves are aware of policies, regulations, acts and circulars which govern areas they supervise, and if in doubt they should seek guidance from relevant authorities. The special audit report says in the year 2022, several errors were identified with how increments and seniority allowances were being paid, resulting in overpayment to some staff and underpayment to others. In another major concern which was also flagged as not yet addressed, auditors found that contributions to the National Housing Trust from some parliamentarians were not being paid over to the NHT by the Houses of Parliament as is required by law. On this point, the internal auditors said discrepancies identified were due to a non-existence of a check and balance system. The report also suggested that basic accounting practices at Gordon House are not being observed. It noted that the accounts payable and the payroll manager should ensure that payroll officers are taught how to carry forward balances for employees between different payrolls. The audit found that there is no form of accuracy associated with the payments of mileage to parliamentarians, and as a result, several members have been overpaid while others underpaid for mileage. That concern was initially raised by auditors in 2020, and according to the most recent audit, the issue remains unaddressed. The audit report is recommending that the management of Parliament conduct an assessment of all support staff for parliamentarians to ensure that underpayment of gratuity is corrected and outstanding amounts paid with immediate effect. They also recommend that corrective action be taken to resolve errors where persons are being paid at the wrong point of their salary scale. George Davis for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, recently retired clerk to the Houses of Parliament Valerie Curtis says some of the breaches identified by the auditors as having occurred under her watch have been addressed. Nationwide News has seen a copy of Ms. Curtis's response to the audit queries. Regarding the overpayment to some staff, Ms. Curtis says steps are being taken to recoup payments from at least one employee at Gordon House. Ms. Curtis says the issue of outstanding dues, which the auditors noted were not deducted from the salaries of staff and paid over to the Jamaica Civil Service Association, is being probed. She says the issue concerning the erroneous upgrading of posts that came out of the recent public sector restructuring exercise has been resolved. She says the matter of discrepancies related to the payment of special allowances is also being investigated. Ms. Curtis says as far as the Accounts Department at Parliament is concerned, training has been conducted to address the absence of checks and balances. She says an investigation is underway into the findings of auditors that Parliament miscalculated pension and statutory deductions. Ms. Curtis retired last Saturday.
The Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, BCJ, says it has censured CVM TV Limited due to complaints received by disgruntled subscribers to Verticast's C-Sport channel. Verticast is the parent company of CVM TV. In a statement on Tuesday, the BCJ says it has completed its investigation of the complaints about their inability to see the English Premier League matches and CVM's role in promoting the access. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The BCJ says it has taken the decision to censure CVM for its role in the controversy on the basis that the station facilitated misleading advertising. This, as it is presumed that CVM had knowledge that the games were not being delivered as expected due to its close affiliation with Verticast. The BCJ arrived at its decision after considering that CVM TV aired promotional material for access to live broadcasts of EPL matches on csport.tv and the C-Sport app. One of the promos twinned the CVM and C-Sport logos, implying that both entities are related and involved in the EPL offering. The BCJ says sports enthusiasts who were motivated by the advertisements reasonably expected to see the EPL games over the entire season. However, this did not materialize as evidenced by emails sent to subscribers on February 17 and 24, 2024, apologizing for the ongoing Premier League broadcast disruptions. The BCJ says given the circumstances of their shared ownership and close relations, CVM TV was aware that C-Sport was failing to deliver live games as advertised, yet the station aired promotional offerings of C-Sport for access to EPL matches. While C-Sport indicated that affected subscribers would be refunded, the BCJ says no date was provided. Further, the BCJ believes a refund would only partly ameliorate the frustration of subscribers. These subscribers lost the opportunity to experience the EPL as they had been led to expect by CVM and CS Sport advertisements. The BCJ has written to the Minister with Responsibility for Information, Robert Morgan, about the matter. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 14 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rentokil is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 29 out west in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake says an internal investigation by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, suggests that allegations that Leota Bradshaw is pregnant while in police custody are false. Bradshaw has been in custody since October 5 last year. She's charged with masterminding the kidnapping and murder of the mother and daughter pair of 27-year-old Tashina Patterson and 10-month-old Soraya Paulwell. Soraya was the daughter of East Kingston and Port Royal MP, the PNP's Philip Paulwell. Rumors circulated on social media that Bradshaw was impregnated by a policeman while she was at the St. Catherine facility where she's being held. Speaking Wednesday at the JCF's quarterly media briefing at his Old Hope Road office in Kingston, Dr. Blake revealed that the officer accused of impregnating Bradshaw was removed from lockup. But he says the claims that Bradshaw is pregnant are rumors.
And so we heard the allegation and immediately commissioned an investigation around it. We also removed the officer who was so accused from the station, but our investigation to this point has not shown that there's any truth to the allegation. And so far the allegation seems to be false.
Dr. Kevin Blake, Commissioner of Police. Nationwide News understands that Bradshaw is the victim of a smear attempt by at least two of her fellow detainees at the St. Catherine lockup. Our news center has also been told that one of the women has confessed to making a false report to the police. The woman claimed Bradshaw has been having sexual relations with a policeman in exchange for preferential treatment inside the lockup.
Meanwhile, Dr. Blake has defended the decision of the High Command to remove the term woman from among its lower ranks. The JCF announced earlier this month that it would no longer refer to female members as woman constable, corporal, sergeant, and inspector. The commissioner says the gender distinction made little sense.
The name, the distinguishing factor in the rank is discriminatory in nature, and so it did not make sense, and it still doesn't make sense, and we remove it for that sole purpose.
The JCF has been pressed by the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society to explain whether the change was intended to align the police force with movements towards transgender rights globally. Dr. Blake says the only agenda the JCF had when it made the decision was to end a discriminatory practice.
There is no other police force that has its female officers being referred to as woman constable or woman corporal. Our neighboring security partner, the JDF, doesn't refer to its members as woman corporal or woman private or woman lieutenant. And even in the JCF, once you reach the level of the officer corps, you're not referred to as woman deputy superintendent. So it's just a matter of common sense. And that's the only agenda that was behind the removal of the distinguishing word from the rank.
Dr. Kevin Blake, the police commissioner, he made the comments while addressing his maiden media conference as head of the constabulary.
The National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, says it's currently working with the Jamaica Fire Brigade to put out a fire at the Riverton disposal site located in St. Andrew. The NSWMA says the fire is located at the border of the disposal site. Following the alert, the brigade was immediately contacted and units dispatched to the site. Executive Director at the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, says protocols have been activated to extinguish the blaze. He noted that soil has been readily stockpiled at all facilities, ensuring an ample supply of material is available to combat the fire. The NSWMA says high winds have posed a significant challenge in outing the blaze. The authority is seeking to assure the public that every measure is being taken to contain and extinguish the blaze.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute
Haiti's National Police Agency has announced the successful recovery of a hijacked cargo ship laden with rice after engaging in a fierce gun battle with gangs for over 5 hours. The victory stands as a rare triumph for the underfunded police department, which has been grappling with escalating gang violence. In an operation marked by intense gunfire, 2 police officers sustained injuries while an undisclosed number of gang members were reportedly killed during the confrontation just off the coast of Port-au-Prince. Reports detailed how the gangs kidnapped the ship's occupants and looted 10,000 sacks of rice from the vessel's cargo, which originally carried 60,000 sacks. The recent clash between police and gangs marks yet another episode in a series of attacks targeting vital government infrastructure over the past month. Gangs have torched multiple police stations, assaulted the main international airport, and raided Haiti's 2 largest prisons, freeing over 4,000 inmates.
South Africa's controversial former president Jacob Zuma is free to run in May's general election after an electoral court overturned a ban on his candidacy. In March, the Electoral Commission barred him over a contempt of court conviction. It argued the Constitution prevented people from holding public office if convicted of a crime and sentenced to more than 12 months in prison. A former stalwart of the governing African National Congress, ANC, Zuma served as president from 2009 until 2018, when he had to step down due to corruption allegations. He was sentenced to 15 months in jail in 2021 for failing to testify in a corruption investigation. However, he only served 3 months on health grounds. The ruling could have a significant impact on the outcome of May's election.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose Assembly and Supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Limited, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the Holness government is allocating an additional $150 million to fight the drought.
$150 million for the trucking of water and procurement and distribution of a limited amount of water tanks.
A special audit of the Houses of Parliament finds a litany of breaches over a 5-year period.
But the retired clerk to the Houses, Valerie Curtis, says some of those breaches are being addressed.
The Broadcasting Commission has censured CVM TV over complaints received by disgruntled subscribers to Verticast's C-Sport channel.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Roby Ann Williams.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 was brought to you by the new Crunch Sandwich from KFC. Available in hot and spicy or barbecue for just $600. A finger-licking good deal at KFC.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again. Live here halfway through an Olympic final.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot. Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Nobly Williams-Mills coming, with glory flapping, her arms are waving, and Nobly Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment, let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph, and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. Wayne Walker. We start with the news in cricket. The Jamaica Scorpions will look to improve their fortunes in the regional 4-day cricket championship when they host champions the Guyana Harpy Eagles in a 6th-round game at Savannah Park. It's set to start come tomorrow. The Jamaican Scorpion team, they have won just 2 of their 5 games. They've beaten the West Indies Cricket Academy and the Caribbean, the combined campuses and colleges team, or they've suffered defeats against Barbados, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, and the Windward Islands Volcanoes. The team will be without former captain, the man who started the season as captain, Jermaine Blackwood, who, having lost the captaincy, was dropped from the side, and the youngster out of Wolmer's, Justin Beckford, who led Wolmer's to a Great Shield glory last year, is one of those coming into the squad looking ahead to that big game. The first 2 quarterfinals in the European Champions League served up 10 goals, but no victories in Madrid or London. Champions Manchester City left the Santiago de Bernabeu with a 3-3 draw against the record champions Real Madrid after falling behind 2-1 at half-time.
Bernardo Silva, he's caught Looney out. An incredible start, all lined up expecting a cross to come in from Bernardo Silva, and he saw the chance. Camavinga shimmies away from Grealish, big deflection, Real Madrid level. And here's Vinicius Junior bearing down. That one's beaten Ortega, it's Rodrigo to score another. 2-1 Real Madrid, what a turnaround. Stones, Foden, a little bit of time. Oh, what a shot, what a goal, what a player. Guardiola! Nobody saw that coming. Vinicius Junior, oh, what a shot! What a goal that is! Real Madrid are level again!
That's over in the Spanish capital, Madrid. In London, the English capital, Premier League leaders Arsenal surrendered an early 1-0 first-half lead before playing out a 2-2 draw with the German giants Bayern Munich at the Emirates.
Havertz is there, Saka is there, and Arsenal lead. It's a thing of beauty from Bukayo Saka, curled deliciously beyond Neuer. But Sané has found Goretzka, and here's Gnabry, and there's the equaliser, and that's how quickly things can change. Gabriel Jesus, clever, Trossard, 2-2, Leandro Trossard.
The return legs in both ties will be in 8 days' time. The first legs in the other quarterfinals are on tomorrow. Atletico Madrid will be hosting Borussia Dortmund in the Spanish capital, while FC Barcelona are away to French side Paris Saint-Germain. Jamaican referee Daniel Parchment says officiating in a FIFA World Cup final remains his career goal. Parchment and Odette Hamilton are the Jamaicans selected by the Olympic selection panel to officiate at the Paris Olympic Games this summer. The pair are amongst 89 officials selected. Parchment has officiated in 5 Gold Cup tournaments, including the inaugural Women's Gold Cup. He has refereed the Olympic final, and he was in the VAR room for the CONCACAF Nations League final. Parchment says the 2026 World Cup should be a good opportunity for him to finally realize his dream.
I'm really looking forward to the 2026 World Cup that will be held in CONCACAF. So my dream is to be a part of the team, whether I'm in the VR room or I'm on the pitch. So that is what I'm looking forward to in the next couple of years.
Parchment, who recently received his FIFA badge, is encouraging other Jamaicans to register to be referees.
We are still inviting persons to come and join referee. There are so much in store for you. We know that the remuneration package may not be the best, but there are so much that you can learn from this, and you get to travel the world free of cost without you have to pay anything from your pocket. So there are so many things you can look forward to.
That's Daniel parchment. And we'll just go back to a bit of cricket news to end the sports for this time. West Indies white ball coach Darren Sammy says he's settled on the majority of the squad for the T20 World Cup, which is set to bowl off in the Caribbean and the United States in June. With the tournament now only 8 weeks away, Sammy said the personnel was all but settled, with only fine-tuning left to be done. Sammy says since taking over, they've selected squads and exposed about 22 players over the last year in preparation for the global event, and they are now down to a core of 15 to 16 players. Sammy says over the past year, they afforded different people different opportunities over a consistent period of time in different roles, and says at this stage he's almost sure what his World Cup squad will look like. Sammy captained the West Indies team to a World Cup T20 titles in 2012 and 16, and also reached the Final Four of the 2014 edition in Bangladesh. West Indies will feature in Group C, and they'll face New Zealand, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea and Uganda in the preliminary stage. Their group campaign will be spread across Guyana, St. Lucia and Trinidad. West Indies will enter a camp in Antigua starting May 10 to hone their preparations for the event, in which a record 20 countries will participate. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hyundai, the home of modern, premium, affordable vehicles. Call us at 876-630-1511. The time by Hyundai is
5:30.
You know, so through the new social housing program, the government has already given houses to hundreds of poor Jamaicans and will give over 1,500 more houses to Jamaicans in need. We are building Jamaica.
The temperature by the office of the Prime Minister is
31 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 28 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackhammer. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Pan select tools, free parts and free repairs. 3 parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Built it, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell. KFC!
The new crunch sandwich from KFC. Great flavor, great price, it's for me. KFC signature, hot and spicy. Chicken with the lettuce, mayo, fries and Pepsi. We've got you covered when you're hungry. The new crunch sandwich from KFC. We've got you covered when you're hungry. The new crunch sandwich from KFC.
Hungry for deals? Get the new crunch sandwich combo from KFC. A small hot and spicy chicken sandwich with lettuce and mayo, plus fries and a Pepsi for just $600. Also available in barbecue. A finger-licking good deal. KFC.
Do you operate a business in the manufacturing or agro-processing industry? Sagicor Bank has a loan just for you. Sagicor Bank Manufacturing and Agro-Processing Loan. Borrow up to $50 million with up to 12 years to repay. Financing you can use to retool, expand, improve efficiencies, or gear up for export. Speak with a business banker today. Sagicor Bank Manufacturing and Agro-Processing Loan. Just another way Sagicor Bank is taking care of business. Conditions apply.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis, weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
You sat and made your list of priorities, must-haves and must-be's for a potential partner.
But that was then. This is now, and according to the rules of relationships, being over 30 makes many women reevaluate their possibilities, position, and potential to find the ideal person. How easy is it to make it happen as time passes? Are the assets as valuable, or the pickings are now diminishing in returns? Why should a woman settle, or should she just settle down with the available aspirant? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, after 30 and dating, should women increase their standards or lower their expectations?
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks. Good afternoon to the listeners. Good afternoon to you, Cliff Hughes.
Good afternoon, Ricardo Brooks. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Very well.
Good. May I encourage those who are listening on radio, if you could just head on over to YouTube. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live. Subscribe, and hello to you if you're joining us on the app this afternoon.
Very well. So, in our cover story this afternoon, the new Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, gave his first media briefing today. And in that media briefing, he dismissed rumors that murder accused Leota Bradshaw was impregnated by a policeman. Rumors have been circulating that one of the country's most high-profile criminal accused, Bradshaw, was impregnated by a policeman while in the custody of the Jamaican state.
Now, Ms. Bradshaw stands accused of masterminding the kidnapping and murdering of 10-month-old Saraya Paulwell, the daughter of East Kingston and Port Royal MP Philip Paulwell, and the child's mother, 27-year-old Tashina Patterson. Ms. Bradshaw has been in the custody of the JCF since October 5 last year. Commissioner Blake says there's no truth to the allegations.
We heard the allegation and immediately commissioned an investigation around it. We also removed the officer who was so accused from the station, but our investigation to this point has not shown that there's any truth to the allegation. And so far, the allegation seems to be false.
So let's unpack this. There's no truth to the allegations that she is pregnant.
Yes.
Yes? But I didn't hear any follow-up as to whether there's any basis to the foundation of the allegations that she has been having sexual relations with a member or two or whatever of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Dr. Blake would only say actually that the policeman who has been so accused has been removed from duty at that particular lockup. But you're absolutely right. He did not go further. And I don't recall there being a follow-up from my colleagues on the platform.
Because that is important. Because there are some people who are still suggesting that they were having sexual relations, which led to the allegation that she was pregnant.
And I noticed the commissioner was very careful in how he worded it at this time. Yes, he did give that caveat a few times.
Because pregnancy has something to come if there is pregnancy. Well, yeah? So, well, our news center understands that Bradshaw is a victim of a smear attempt by at least two of her fellow detainees at the lockup. We have been told that one of the women confessed to making a false report to the police, claiming that Bradshaw has been having sexual relations with a policeman in exchange for preferential treatment inside the lockup.
So we'll have to continue to watch that one and to see why exactly, if there is no foundation, why would they have found it necessary to remove the policeman so accused? If it was a smear campaign, if these rumors were found to be completely untrue and
baseless.
false and baseless, why remove him?
Exactly.
Yeah? So we'll continue to watch that. Dr. Blake also spoke to this matter of removing woman, that prefix, from the ranks in the JCF. He says it was common sense. He says the signifier was discriminatory in nature.
I've not heard a reporter being referred to as a woman reporter. The name, the distinguishing factor in the rank is discriminatory in nature, and so it did not make sense, and it still doesn't make sense, and we remove it for that sole purpose. We've been tracking comments and interest that people have around this issue and ascribing several theories to it. But let me just lay the matter at rest. There is no other police force that has its female officers being referred to as woman constable or woman corporal. Our neighboring security partner, the JDF, doesn't refer to its members as woman corporal or woman private or woman lieutenant. And even in the JCF, once you reach the level of the officer corps, you're not referred to as woman deputy superintendent. So it's just a matter of common sense. And that's the only agenda that was behind the removal of the name, of the distinguishing word from the rank.
Dr. Kevin Blake there, the police commissioner. And you know, Cliff, listeners, I've been reading the comments on social media, and I recall the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society going down a road that I found startling to question whether this had anything to do with the forward march for transgender rights globally. But you know, what it makes me recognize even more, the deep sense of distrust that is in the society and in the population when it comes to acts of agencies of the government and of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Because something so simple
Yes.
should not be occupying so much attention. It's plain, as he said, it's a common sense move.
Yes.
And yet, these rumors, these
And it's
wild speculation.
And it's been discussed for decades.
Yes.
Why do we have to say woman so-and-so? Yeah? Why? But we're living in that era. The era of conspiracy theories, yes, and an era of widespread disinformation.
Yes.
And as you say, a lack of trust.
Yes.
So here we are. In the meantime, Dr. Blake says investigations continue regarding allegations of assault surrounding the leadership of Atlantis Academy in Treasure Beach, St. Elizabeth. Late last month, you may recall, 8 American boys were removed from the Atlantis Leadership Academy after the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, the CPFSA, made a surprise visit to the institution where the boys in question were observed showing signs of abuse and neglected. One of the boys, an 18-year-old, was returned to his family, while the other 7 were placed in residential childcare facilities.
Without going into too much detail on the investigation, because it is an ongoing investigation, 5 persons were identified and 4 were charged. I think 1 person was awaiting identification parade, and the investigation continues at this point. At some point in time, we can provide further information on that. It is ongoing, and all persons who are of interest in that investigation, obviously, will be spoken to by the investigators. I wish not to say more at this point, but just to say that the investigation is ongoing, and in very short order we'll be able to give you more on that.
We're bringing you excerpts of the first quarterly media briefing by the new police commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake. It was a wide-ranging presentation touching on various matters and providing security updates across the board. So the commissioner also spoke to major crimes. He spoke to a decline in major crimes for the first quarter of the year in comparison to last year. Dr. Blake says one of the main objectives for the force in 2024 will be the removal of illegal firearms from the streets.
Our work to ensure safety and security across Jamaica are ongoing and evolving, and it is crucial that we examine the data with a discerning eye to understand the landscape of crime in our nation and the effectiveness of our strategies to combat it. In the first quarter of 2024, we have observed a significant reduction in several categories of major crimes compared to the same period in 2023. Notably, murders have decreased by 13%. Shootings are down by 4%. Rape cases have declined by 38%. In terms of property crimes, robbery remained unchanged with 171 cases, while break-ins saw a decrease of 17%. Our focus on illegal firearms has yielded tangible results. In 2024, there has been a 7% increase in gun seizures, with pistols being the most commonly seized firearm. Ammunition seizures rose by 41%, reflecting our intensified efforts to rid our streets of these dangerous tools of violence. We asked for it, and we have been given greater legislative support through a new Firearms Act. In 2024, greater focus will be placed on removing illegal weapons from our streets and communities. This intensification of our focus will be reflected in adjustments to our organizational structure, which will be announced in short order. An analysis of the implement used in major crimes reveals that guns remain the predominant tools in murders, featuring in 84% of the cases this year. Of note is the fact that arrests and charges for major crimes have seen a 9% increase. This increase in arrests and charges is a clear indicator of our commitment to holding perpetrators accountable and delivering justice for victims. Now, as your commissioner, I am extending a call to every law-abiding citizen in Jamaica. The challenge we face is not unsurmountable. The criminal elements that lurk within our midst, sowing seeds of fear and destruction, are vastly outnumbered by the good and the brave among us. But to turn the tide against the criminals, it demands collective will of our people. We must isolate these persons from among us. We must not give them cover. We need every citizen to become an active participant in safeguarding our communities. We must push these offenders out from the shadows and make it clear that they have no place among us. It's time we isolate them, not through violence, but by elevating our moral stance and by showing the values of community, respect, and integrity.
That's the new Commissioner of Police giving his first quarterly media briefing, Dr. Kevin Blake. We're going to hear more from Dr. Blake after these messages.
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 6:47.
Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go want to buy this pack. So good. It's just so good. Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Do you operate a business in the manufacturing or agro-processing industry? Sagicor Bank has a loan just for you. Sagicor Bank Manufacturing and Agro-Processing Loan. Borrow up to 50 million with up to 12 years to repay. Financing you can use to retool, expand, improve efficiencies, or gear up for export. Speak with a business banker today. Sagicor Bank Manufacturing and Agro-Processing Loan. Just another way Sagicor Bank is taking care of business. Conditions apply.
It's actually 5:48 in the afternoon. You're tuned in to Appointment Radio. It's the cover story on Nationwide at 5. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
And we're bringing you excerpts of that first quarterly media briefing from the Commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake. Now, he also spoke to...
Just before we move on, he said in the previous clip we played just before going out for the break that we will see organizational changes, structural changes coming to reflect the thrust that he will be focusing on of ridding the country and the streets of firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? I look forward to that. What organizational changes?
Yeah, and just broadly speaking, this in the media conference, it was a tough talking commissioner. I mean, there was one point in particular where he said to the criminal elements, I'm speaking now directly to you.
Oh?
Yes. So, yeah, he did talk tough today. It's to be seen whether the strategies, the operational changes will match that.
Yeah.
So he was asked about the matter of states of public emergency, whether he would continue to use them. And he says the JCF has multiple tools which they will be employing. Among those, the commissioner says, is stronger legislation. Now, Dr. Blake's predecessor, listeners, Major General Anthony Anderson, faced criticism for his reliance on the enhanced security measure in fighting crime in hotspots, that's the SOE. Now, the new commissioner, he has not ruled out the continued use of SOEs.
I think Boogs, you know he's not very well. He is fast-tracking the time by an hour, and he's also fast-tracking the script. Yes? So he missed a few, right? In fact, where we should be picking up is that Dr. Blake said the force has been employing different methods to estimate the number of illegal weapons in the country.
With respect to arms and ammunition in the country, we do have our method of estimating, and we use several variables, estimating the number of weapons that are here. It is what it is, an estimate, and it is based on several variables. This is important so that we can have an appreciation of the impact of our effort when we seize over 600 firearms each year off the street. And so, yes, we do have a mechanism that we use to do an assessment in terms of the number of weapons that we have here.
Okay, the Commissioner has asked me to speak on the issue, the Catch Act you mentioned. What we will say is that any initiative by our international partner, in particular the Americans, to mitigate the amount of weapons that are being shipped within the region, illegal weapons, it is a welcome initiative. I know that we have been working with our international partners. I know that from the level of the political administration, there have been several meetings on a regional basis. There have also been several meetings trying to enlist the support of the United States in particular to prevent the inflow of illicit weapons to our regions. I know that there's a regional body that was set up that is manned by individuals from ATF and other law enforcement, U.S. law enforcement representatives, as well as Caribbean law enforcement representatives. So what we will say, any initiative to mitigate the flow of illegal weapons is welcome by us.
The voice there of DCP Fitz Bailey is the head of the JCF's crime and security portfolio, and before him you heard the police commissioner, Dr. Kevin Blake. Now, I am well.
I'm glad to hear that.
Good. And now here is the commissioner on the matter of states of public emergency.
We have several tools in the toolbox. We have shared some very strategic and vague they may be, but we have several tools in the toolbox to ensure that we keep our communities safe, and we will be utilizing all those tools that are given to us. We have a new Bail Act. We have a new Firearms Act that has minimum mandatory, and every year we take a number of persons off the street who are offenders that use firearm. Now we have a stronger legislation. We have strategies, internal strategies, operational strategies that we use to narrow the world of these persons who seek to create harm and mayhem. And so I want to just assure you and the public at large that we will utilize whatever resource that exists in its legal realm to keep our communities safe.
And essentially echoing what his predecessor would have said about the use of SOEs, that it's one of the tools in the toolbox, and where it becomes necessary, where the levels of crime threaten to overcome the capacity of the security forces in a particular area, he's prepared to call
They
on.
will not hesitate to use it. Meanwhile, Commissioner Blake said the recent surge in road fatalities is concerning. This despite fatalities declining when compared to last year's rate. 112 people have died in Jamaica in 96 fatal collisions as at April 5. This represents a 5% decrease when compared to the corresponding period last year.
The JCF has observed a concerning trend in road fatalities since the onset of 2024, prompting us to intensify our strategic response to this challenge. In 2023, we saw a 13% reduction in road fatalities and a 10% decline in fatal crashes compared to the previous year, thanks to the collective efforts of our dedicated officers and the public's increasing awareness. Males represented a staggering 87% of these fatalities. Vulnerable road users, including pedestrians, pedal cyclists, motorcyclists, and pillions, accounted for 59% of the fatalities. This statistic aligns the critical need for targeted interventions to protect our most at-risk populations. As of April 4th this year, we have documented 112 fatalities on our roads, indicating a 5% decline compared to the same period last year. While this decrease is encouraging, the recent surge in fatal road crashes in the past month has raised significant concerns. This disturbing trend underscores the urgent need for the JCF to adapt and enhance our strategies to prevent further loss of life. In response, the JCF is committed to focusing on addressing moving violations as a core component of our strategic response. Enforcement of traffic laws is about saving lives, not just about issuing tickets. Our objective is to create a safer environment for all road users by vigorously targeting behaviors that contribute to road accidents. These include speeding, impaired driving, failing to use seatbelts and helmets, and other reckless practices that endanger lives. Our approach will be multifaceted, combining strict enforcement with public education campaigns on our platforms to foster a culture of road safety. We will work closely with our partners and other stakeholders to amplify our efforts.
I hear the Commissioner, and I agree that more needs to be done in terms of public education. But I'm also wondering whether we don't now need to use the technology that's available, more cameras, traffic cameras.
Absolutely.
Because you can't have the eyes of a constable everywhere.
Right.
And it doesn't at all seem that the deterrence from the higher fines in the new road traffic are curbing it's curbing the behavior. People are still behaving recklessly. When I saw, I think it was in St. Anne last week, just the mangled nature of
wreck.
I can only imagine the speed.
It's as if it was crushed.
Yes. So we're going to have to use the technology because the eyes of a constable can't be everywhere. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Jamaicans aren't heeding the message.
And we're putting up more cameras, I think what we're not doing is the backroom work. So the cameras are out there, but we do not have the ecosystem, the infrastructure to now follow up.
So once the violations are flagged,
they're captured and you get a ticket. In the many countries of the world,
I'm thinking about Rwanda
or in London.
Yes.
Yeah. You break that light, trust me, you're going to be ticketed.
Yes, that ticket will come to you. It will find you.
It is going to get to you in the mail. Until we get there in Jamaica, putting up the cameras, symbolic. Not until you now follow it up. So when you know you go through the light, you are going to be caught.
And that's why I support things like NIDS, because that ticket needs to follow you. It needs to follow you every single step of your life. It needs to be there as a permanent record until you pay it.
Yeah. All right. I think that's where we're going to leave it for the cover story. Yes, Madam Producer, you're saying? The clip with the Commissioner speaking directly to the criminals. Let's hear that one.
As we endeavor to safeguard our communities and restore peace to the lives of average Jamaicans, we find ourselves at a critical juncture in addressing the criminal elements within our midst. These individuals, who are sons, brothers, baby fathers, and friends, are known to you, the people. They reside in our communities, sometimes within our very homes. Today, I address them directly with a clear and unequivocal message. Your actions have not gone unnoticed. The havoc you wreak and fear you sow and the destruction you bring upon the livelihoods of innocent Jamaicans have demanded our full attention, and now you have it. The JCF urges anyone with information on the whereabouts of criminals to come forward as part of a collective effort to ensure justice and restore peace. We are actively targeting and pursuing those who choose the path of violent criminality with the unrelenting resolve to bring them to justice. To those individuals, let this serve as a warning. When the JCF comes for you, and rest assured we will, it is in your best interest to surrender peacefully.
Tough talking, to the point.
And we have heard it before.
Well, he says operational changes are coming to support that. So let's see.
And we wish him well. We want him to succeed.
Absolutely.
But I can't help but being a little cynical, because I've been around here for a little while and I've heard several former commissioners uttering virtually the same words, the same warning, and very little is done.
Important, though, that the effort has to be a collective one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a cover story. The headlines are next.
Say hello to peace of mind and goodbye to worry with Guardian Life's new Ultimate Provider Plan, and secure your medical expenses in the event of critical illness today. Call 888-367-5433 for details.
The time by Guardian Life is
6:01.
Upgrade your kitchen and bathroom to the next level with Unique Living. They're the ultimate destination for all your kitchen and bathroom needs, from luxurious shower systems to exquisite faucets, vanities, sinks, toilets, closets, and more. They have it all. Visit shop number 6, 30 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call them at 876-755-3661. Elevate your space with Unique Living, where quality meets expectations.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Norgay Banton. The government is allocating an additional $150 million towards drought mitigation efforts. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement in the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
To the farmers and rural communities on the front line of this crisis, I give my unwavering commitment to stand by your side and provide the assistance you need to survive and indeed recover and thrive from this drought. That is why the government is implementing a range of measures to support our farmers during these challenging times. This includes the emergency funding, which we will put in place in the amount of $150 million for the trucking of water and procurement and distribution of a limited amount of water tanks. And let me just explain that, Mr. Speaker, we will make an emergency allocation of 150 million Jamaican dollars.
As part of his update regarding the ongoing drought, Mr. Holness says no parish has been spared, but the west of the island has been particularly affected. The program will target the 50 constituencies assessed as most heavily affected. Mr. Holness also announced $60 million to assist the agriculture sector with irrigation. The Prime Minister says projections should see the dry spell ease in a matter of weeks.
The probability for rain in Westmoreland and Hanover continues to be below 50%, in fact, below 40% probability that they will have rain. The rest of the island is in the 40 to 45%, which is still not good, but better than below 40%. And some areas show above 50%. Thankfully, Clarendon and Manchester shows that they will have good probability for rain. So, Mr. Speaker, that the drought conditions will ease in another 4 weeks or so.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has decried as despicable the theft of water tank from Negril Primary School. He's calling on the police to do a thorough investigation.
I wanted to point out briefly, Mr. Speaker, that we would have seen in the news where a water tank was stolen from the Negril Primary School. All I can say about that, Mr. Speaker, is that this is despicable. Despicable. In a period where the country is grappling with this national crisis, someone would seek to deprive a school of its water storage capacity. I urge the police to investigate it thoroughly and recover the tank and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, he was speaking in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. A litany of administrative, managerial, human resource and accounting breaches are reported to have transpired at the Houses of Parliament between January 2019 and March this year. That's according to a special internal audit report seen by Nationwide News. The audit was completed last week. The internal auditors were highly critical of the administrative leadership of Parliament over the years, citing a culture of inaction in addressing special concerns raised in successive audits. Some of the breaches, which date back to 2019, were recently flagged as still outstanding, meaning that no corrective action has been taken 5 years after the fact. George Davis reports.
The special audit report covers a period when Valerie Curtis and before her Heather Cook served as a CEO of the Houses of Parliament. It says a review of the administrative management of Parliament has revealed multiple discrepancies relating to the payment of salaries as recently as 2023. According to the report, these discrepancies resulted in a momentous loss of benefits to staff estimated at over $15 million. Up until earlier this week, that issue was flagged by the auditors as a matter which is still outstanding and requires corrective action. The internal auditors also chastised the administrative leadership of Parliament for not displaying the required awareness to respond to breaches identified and failing to take corrective steps. In recommending that steps be taken to ensure the $15 million in outstanding payment to staffers is addressed, the auditors said management should ensure that they themselves are aware of policies, regulations, acts and circulars which govern areas they supervise, and if in doubt they should seek guidance from relevant authorities. The special audit report says in the year 2022, several errors were identified with how increments and seniority allowances were being paid, resulting in overpayment to some staff and underpayment to others. In another major concern, which was also flagged as not yet addressed, auditors found that contributions to the National Housing Trust from some parliamentarians were not being paid over to the NHT by the Houses of Parliament as is required by law. On this point, the internal auditors said discrepancies identified were due to a non-existence of a check and balance system. The report also suggested that basic accounting practices at Gordon House are not being observed. It noted that the accounts payable and the payroll manager should ensure that payroll officers are taught how to carry forward balances for employees between different payrolls. The audit found that there is no form of accuracy associated with the payments of mileage to parliamentarians, and as a result, several members have been overpaid while others underpaid for mileage. That concern was initially raised by auditors in 2020, and according to the most recent audit, the issue remains unaddressed. The audit report is recommending that the management of Parliament conduct an assessment of all support staff for parliamentarians to ensure that underpayment of gratuity is corrected and outstanding amounts paid with immediate effect. They also recommend that corrective action be taken to resolve errors where persons are being paid at the wrong point of their salary scale. George Davis for Nationwide News.
Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sport is next.
The Leaders Conference of Choice is back on site at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and online. Register now for Middle Managers Leadership Conference. Call 876-978-60012 or visit www.makeyourmarkgroup.com. Sponsored by Make Your Mark Group, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, JPS, Intelligent Multimedia Limited, Monographic Printers, Main Event Entertainment Group, Nationwide News Network, and Visual Tech Solutions. Middle Managers Conference, May 1 to 2, 2024. Sign up at www.makeyourmarkgroup.com.
Whether it's a heartfelt eulogy, an inspiring tribute, or a remembrance, place your ads in the Life Tribute section of the Jamaica Observer to remember the extraordinary individuals who have left their mark on this world. The Life Tribute section allows you to share stories, commemorate your loved ones, and keep their memory alive. Find solace in the power of remembrance. Together, we can keep their spirit alive. Book with the Jamaica Observer today. Contact 876-936-9504 for more details.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. The Jamaica Scorpions will look to improve their fortunes in the regional 4-day cricket competition when they face champions the Guyana Harpy Eagles in a 6th-round game at Sabina Park starting tomorrow. The Scorpions have blown hot and cold this season with 2 wins and 3 defeats from their 5 games so far. The wins have come against lowly ranked West Indies Academy and the combined campuses and colleges, while they fell to defeat against the Windward Islands Volcanoes, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, and the Barbados Pride. The team will be without Jermaine Blackwood, who started the season as captain and was later stripped. He was dropped from the squad altogether for this game after scoring just 88 runs from 9 innings with a high score of 26. In other 6th-round games starting tomorrow, the West Indies Academy and the Windward Islands Volcanoes will battle at Coolidge. The Leeward Islands Hurricanes will take on the Barbados Pride at Queen's Park Oval, and they combine the campuses and colleges versus Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, the game to be played at St. Augustine. West Indies white ball coach Darren Sammy says he's settled on the majority of the squad for the T20 World Cup, which is set to bowl off in the Caribbean and the United States in June. With the tournament now only 8 weeks away, Sammy said the personnel was all but settled, with only fine-tuning left to be done. Sammy says since taking over the reins, they've selected squads and exposed about 22 players over the last year, this in preparation for the global event, and they now are down to the core of 15 to 16 players. Sammy says over the past year, they afforded different people different opportunities over a consistent period of time in different roles, and says at this stage he's almost sure what his World Cup squad will look like.
You would have seen Kyle Mayers, Johnson Charles, Brendan King. Even last year, I think they used Shoma Brooks. Different guys getting different opportunities over a consistent period of time in different roles. And it has brought us down to probably final 15, 20, 16, 20 players. And it's about fine-tuning now. I'm probably quite sure as to what my World Cup team will be. It's based on the measures that we've taken and the strategic roles that we've given players.
Darren Sammy captained the West Indies to a World Cup T20 titles in 2012 and 2016 and also reached the Final Four of the 2014 edition in Bangladesh. The West Indies will feature in Group C and they'll face New Zealand, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea and Uganda in the preliminary stage. Their group campaign will be spread across Guyana, where they'll open their campaign against Uganda, and they'll also play in St. Lucia and Trinidad and Tobago. The West Indies will enter a camp in Antigua starting May 10. And May 10 is the birthday of Merlin Ottey, and they'll be trying to hone their preparations for the event in which a record 20 teams will participate. Coach of Jamaica's senior women's cricket team, Shane Brooks, says he's backing suggestions that local clubs should establish a female team. Brooks recently guided Jamaica to both the regional Super 50 Cup and the T20 Blaze titles. He warns that if Jamaica and the region are to remain competitive, more women need to be playing consistently.
Female cricket is no longer an extracurricular. It is a business. It is a profession. As you can see, it is being played around the world by all the top nations. We have females playing a World Cup cricket. You have the IPL, you have CPL, where ladies are competing for large prize money. So it is a profession for them. So having cricket played in the club, it is necessary. Having it played in the school, it is also necessary. In the colleges, you need it to happen. Because, as you can see, it has become quite lucrative to have these ladies playing, or players who are representing the West Indies teams are living better lives and are able to enjoy the benefits from their hard work.
That's Shane Brooks. The first two quarterfinals in the European Champions League served up 10 goals, but no victories in Milan, in Madrid or London. Champions Manchester City left the Santiago de Bernabeu with a 3-3 draw against the record champions Real Madrid after falling behind 2-1 at halftime.
Bernardo Silva, always caught Lunin out. An incredible start, all lined up expecting a cross to come in from Bernardo Silva, and he saw the chance. Camavinga shimmies away from Grealish, big deflection, Real Madrid level. And here's Vinicius Junior bearing down. That one's beaten Ortega, it's Rodrigo to score another. 2-1 Real Madrid, what a turnaround. Stones, Foden, a little bit of time. Oh, what a shot, what a goal, what a player. Grandiol! Nobody saw that coming. Vinicius Junior, oh, what a shot! What a goal that is! Real Madrid are level again!
That was in the Spanish capital, Madrid. In London, English Premier League leaders Arsenal surrendered an early 1-0 first-half lead before playing out a 2-2 draw with the German giants Bayern Munich at the Emirates.
Havertz is there, Saka is there, and Arsenal lead. It's a thing of beauty from Bukayo Saka, curled deliciously beyond Neuer. But Sané has found Goretzka. And here's Gnabry, and there's the equaliser, and that's how quickly things can change. Gabriel Jesus, clever, Trossard, 2-2, Leandro Trossard.
The return legs in both ties will be in 8 days' time. The first legs in the other quarterfinals are on tomorrow. Atletico Madrid hosting Borussia Dortmund in the Spanish capital, while FC Barcelona, they're away to the French side, Paris Saint-Germain, at the Stade de France. Jamaican referee Daniel Parchment says officiating in a FIFA World Cup final still remains his career goal. That's his main career goal. Parchment and Odette Hamilton are the Jamaicans selected by FIFA to officiate at the Paris Olympic Games this summer. The pair are among 89 officials selected by the FIFA Referees Committee. Parchment has officiated in 5 Gold Cup tournaments, including the inaugural Women's Gold Cup. He has refereed the Olympic final. He was in the VAR room for the Nations League final. But he says the 2026 World Cup should give him a good opportunity to realize his dream.
I'm really looking forward to the 2026 World Cup that will be held in CONCACAF. So my dream is to be a part of the team, whether I'm in the VR room or I'm on the pitch. So that is what I'm looking forward to in the next couple of years.
Parchment, who recently received his FIFA badge, is encouraging other Jamaicans to register to be referees.
We are still inviting persons to come and join referee. There's so much in store for you. We know that the remuneration package may not be the best, but there are so much that you can learn from this, and you get to travel the world free of cost without you have to pay anything from your pocket. So, there are so much things you can look forward to.
That's Daniel Parchment. The UK government has written to the presidents of the International Olympic Committee and the International Paralympic Committee expressing support for them, allowing Russian and Belarusian athletes to compete at the Paris Games as neutrals. Athletes from both countries were banned following Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. But the IOC and the IPC have since decided to allow individuals to compete if they do so without flags, emblems, or the anthems of their country. Athletes must not have publicly supported the invasion of Ukraine or be contracted to the military. The countries cannot enter teams either. Now, the government stance comes despite the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, Lucy Fraser, saying last year that any plans to allow Russian or Belarusian athletes to participate in Paris are not credible. Fraser also chaired a summit of 36 countries that released a joint statement pledging their support for a ban on Russian and Belarusian athletes competing in international sporting events. but officials deny that the move represents a U-turn, with a government spokesperson saying, quote, Russian and Belarusian athletes representing their country should not be permitted in domestic or international sporting competition. That position, they say, still stands. Now, the government is said to have been satisfied by the effectiveness of what it regards as stricter and aligned neutrality conditions adopted by both the IOC and the IPC. The Olympic Games will take place July 26 to August 11, and the Paralympic Games from August 28 until September 8. And do remember that Nationwide 90 FM, we've got exclusive radio rights to the Paris Olympic Games, the one-stop for your Olympic Games, right here. Make it your Olympic Center this summer. And finally, in sports at this time, World Netball has banned transgender women from competing in women's international competition. The ban comes in with immediate effect after the global governing body released a new participation and inclusion policy on Monday. World Netball said that after a lengthy consultation process, it had determined international women's netball was, quote, a gender-affected activity. A new policy was required to ensure fairness and safety, it said. Women's netball at international level will now be restricted to players recorded as female at birth, irrespective of gender identity, or transgender athletes who can demonstrate to World Netball satisfaction they have not experienced the biological effects of testosterone at any time. World Netball believes that the research on which it has relied is robust. It comprises many research studies, all of which have been published in peer-reviewing journals and come from multiple distinct research groups right around the world. World Netball said national governing bodies could choose to modify or even not apply these guidelines if they decided to base their participation rules on other factors. In June of 2022, swimming's world governing body FINA voted to stop transgender athletes from competing in women's elite events if they had gone through any part of the process of male puberty. The Rugby Football League and Rugby Football Union also banned transgender women from competing in female-only forms of their game. World Athletics banned transgender women from competing in the female category at international events, while World Cycling Governing Body, the UCI, ruled that transgender women would not be prevented from competing in female events. Transgender women have also been barred by the International Cricket Council from playing in international women's cricket matches. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:21.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates. First-time registration land surveys also included, affordable rates and flexible payment options. NLA adjudication and land titling waivers also available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
You sat and made your list of priorities, must-haves and must-be's for a potential partner. But that was then. This is now, and according to the rules of relationships, being over 30 makes many women reevaluate their possibilities, position and potential to find the ideal person. How easy is it to make it happen as time passes? Are the assets as valuable, or the pickings are now diminishing in returns? Why should a woman settle, or should she just settle down with the available aspirant? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, after 30 and dating, should women increase their standards or lower their expectations?
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again. Live here halfway through the Olympic finals.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noveline Williams-Mills coming, but Rory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noveline Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
Hands up, Parchment! Let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, we invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. So, Jamaica Carnival climaxed on Sunday with the road march through the streets of Kingston. I know we all saw it, whether on social media, whether on traditional media. We saw some snippets of it, and what a day it was. According to the young people, a time was had. Hundreds of revelers turned out as the road march made its way through New Kingston, Halfway Tree, Hope Road, and Waterloo Road. It was in the vicinity, near Halfway Tree there, so, Lady Musgrave and all of that. And we've seen the pictures, as I said, we've seen the videos. And one video in particular got tongues wagging. During the road march, female revelers were seen gyrating on two uniformed police officers who were on duty. So in Public Opinion today, we're asking, what's your reaction to female revelers gyrating on policemen working at Carnival Road March on Sunday?
Carnival is for enjoyment and fun for everyone, of course. So I don't have a problem with the revelers dancing with the police and so, but sometimes police have to do policing because you have vindictive men that don't care where the fun is, they come to destroy and hurt. So although there should be policing, they can dance with the revelers, nothing wrong with that, but make sure, be certain of their surrounding.
It is a great look. I like it. It's a very good look. Officer them that they protect and serve. Meanwhile, them can get little enjoyment too. Why not? And them are all them posts and like them are go out with themselves too much. Them still watch you go on and pay attention. Or them go out and them look a wine up and so you go. Yeah, love it. Jamaica, that's what we have.
It is unfortunate and unacceptable. Just flip that around and you can imagine the bangarang that would be going on now. I really think that they should be arrested, I don't know what's wrong with these women nowadays. They are so aggressive when it comes to sex.
I think that revelers them are going to behave like that way with the police because them know say at those events the police don't have much they can do. They have to just be there to protect them and to do their job. So they just use the opportunity to go all sort of way. And because Carnival is such an uptown thing, is if it was a dancehall thing, it would have to be a different kettle of fish. But because it's an uptown thing and the uptown society people really participate in Carnival, they get a lot of latitude to do a lot of things that the average Jamaican wouldn't be able to do and get away with.
All right, the views of the people there, strong views, and we have even stronger views on our social media platform. I'm going to pose the question again, then we go to them. What's your reaction to female revelers gyrating on policemen working at Carnival Road March on Sunday? I'll start on X. Andrea saying they should be locked up and the policemen suspended for allowing it to happen. They could have declined and walked away. She believes that it's so tacky when we turn around and talk about the lack of professionalism. I don't want anybody to come tell me it's Carnival. It should have never happened. Elon Musk admirer saying they do it everywhere. I've been to Notting Hill in London, Caribana in Toronto, and Batabano in the Cayman Islands. They all twerk on police officers. It's more temptation than a crime. All right, to each his own opinion. Patrick A. Stern says it's completely unacceptable, inappropriate, and unprofessional. He should have indicated in no uncertain manner that he is not tolerating that behavior. Carnival or no carnival? DJ says it's very inappropriate. At the same time, too big double standard. If it was the other way around, you would have heard the uproar. Indeed, Blazing Fire, it's not a problem. There is a gender neutrality in the JCF. They are not policemen. They are police officers. They should have accepted the invitation by just returning the favor. Pacha says, it happens yearly at Carnival, but maybe JCF now needs to draw a line. It's getting all too familiar. I think I've seen or if not heard of an incident similar to this one before, for real. Don Amelie says it's nothing new. Seeing the same many previous carnivals. You see the same in many previous and that's what I'm saying. I think I recall hearing of but a similar incident. So what you're really saying is saying that it's disgusting and it happens everywhere, but it's disgusting. Besuzi believes that the reveler should be charged. Aurelius is saying it's a double standard, but it's a part of the culture. Long time disagwan. Surprised he let her grab the belt, which was next to the firearm, though the threat was low. All right, I hear you. String is saying, as a former officer, I blame the police because you could never in a million years gyrate on me whilst on duty in such an obscene and despicable manner. Never I can see he's a young cop, but don't allow this to slide by, especially if you're attired in your working uniform. If you're just joining us, Carnival climaxed, in Jamaica on Sunday. Your reaction to female revelers gyrating on policemen working at Carnival Road March on our Instagram platform, Positive1JA says, actually, the police could have also indicated to the reveler that not now, maybe in another session. There are subtle body gestures that could indicate to the reveler. Remember, the reveler might be under liquor, under influence, and they're just there to have fun. Susie Wang Presents says, I saw one of the footage and all I could think was if it was the reverse, the genders, and it wouldn't be okay. So why is it okay for women to do that to male officers on duty? And she's saying, imagine if male revelers were gyrating on female officers, who clearly weren't responding favorably. What would it be? The view wouldn't be the same. There's a point there. Steph Beauty says it's inappropriate and it showed a blatant disrespect for the uniformed men on duty. Sharika is have similar sentiments. She says inappropriate and needs to be addressed nationally. And Robbie Sox is also saying if the roles were reversed. All right. Let me quickly just run through some more. Wes Indian says, stop blowing up the spot. It happens in the States too on our YouTube platform. Joy Nelson says the police need to be more careful. Killian Henry says the policeman should just, bubble back. Wow, okay. Cassie is saying, leave the policeman, make him get him dance. Everything people take serious. Okay. Fayadine Swaby say they must be charged for sexual harassment. Elizabeth is asking, why is this public opinion? Because Elizabeth, we believe that it's something that's happening in the public and you may have an opinion on it. And we got several responses too. Papa is saying next time keep the carnival a stadium and police watch the gate. Curtis says Muda Afi use the button pan. Okay. Wow. Books, leave me alone. Joy Nelson says the police are human. Their jobs are stressful. Wow. All right. We don't have much time left, just trying to get a few more inbox. Donovan Walker says the officers are standing at attention. You guys play too much. But thank you so much for participating in public opinion this evening. Wow, to each his own, I know I say my piece, me I hold my piece. To each his own. That's all the time we have for public opinion. Do stay tuned for the business report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
30 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 28 out west in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, BCJ, says it has censured CVM TV Limited due to complaints received by disgruntled subscribers to Verticast's C Sport channel. Verticast is the parent company of CVM TV. Now, in a statement on Tuesday, the BCJ says it has completed its investigation of the complaints of customers about their inability to see the English Premier League matches and CVM's role in promoting the access. The BCJ says it has taken the decision to censure CVM for its role in the controversy on the basis that the station facilitated misleading advertising. The BCJ arrived at its decision after considering that CVM TV aired promotional material for access to live broadcasts of EPL matches on cssport.tv and the C Sport app. The BCJ says sports enthusiasts who were motivated by the advertisements reasonably expected to see the EPL games over the entire season. However, this did not materialize. Further, the BCJ believes a refund would only partly ameliorate the frustration of subscribers who lost the opportunity to experience the EPL as they had been led to expect by CVM C Sport advertisements. Now, the BCJ has written to the Minister with responsibility for information, that's Robert Morgan, about the matter. Further afield, the boss of one of the world's biggest banks has warned U.S. interest rates could climb to 8%. Jamie Dimon, the head of J.P. Morgan Chase, said his bank was prepared for interest rates to jump because of persistent inflationary pressures. Central banks around the world have been busy raising rates in a bid to dampen rising prices, but with U.S. inflation gradually easing, the overwhelming expectation is for the Federal Reserve to cut rates this year. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 155 Jamaican dollars and 74 cents to buy $1, 196 Jamaican dollars and 57 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 114 Jamaican dollars and 88 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We are having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM.
Is that really Click News talking?
Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour, fired.
Also, tune in to the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Benjamin. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Was Click News really talking like that?
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
How certain are you that you're taking proper care of your pets? How often do you take them to the vet? Just as we need annual checkups with our doctors, most pets need regular checkups too. Owning and caring for a family pet doesn't have to be a difficult or burdensome experience. Nationwide 90 FM has an exciting feature called Pets World that will help you take better care of your pets. Join Nationwide 90 FM every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning as we take you into the do's and don'ts of caring for your pets. That's Pets World every Wednesday at 6:50 a.m. during the program This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
As a parent, you give your children a good start in life. You nurture, protect, and guide them. Parenting is a process that prepares your child for independence. As your child grows and develops, there are many things you can do to help your child. Stay tuned to The Big Show, Nationwide This Morning, for parenting tips. Fridays at 6:53 a.m. Only here will you learn everything you need to know about parenting. Tips to help parents navigate the incredibly challenging and rewarding journey of child rearing. Parenting tips on Nationwide 90 FM, the revolution in media.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
Now, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, has a new Chief Executive Officer. Leonard Francis has succeeded Peter Knight. Mr. Francis's appointment took effect on Tuesday, April 2. Mr. Knight retired on March 31. NEPA has described Mr. Francis as a seasoned expert, referencing his 2 decades of experience in environment and planning.
Mr. Francis previously served as the director of NEPA's Spatial Planning Division. NEPA says Mr. Francis, while serving in this role, showcased an aptitude for leadership and strategic planning. He holds a master's degree in planning from the University of Ryerson in Toronto, Canada, and an MBA in public sector management from the University of the West Indies, Mona. He also served as an adjunct lecturer at the University of Technology in urban and regional planning. He joins us now to talk about his mandate, his plans for NEPA and the Environmental Protection Regulatory Agency in Jamaica.
Mr. Francis, good evening.
Hi, good evening. How are you, Cliff? How are you, Ricardo?
Doing very well. So, Mr. Francis, NEPA in the past has faced serious backlash. Yeah, people say it doesn't do its job well enough in terms of enforcement and monitoring. Can the Jamaican people expect that under your leadership that will change?
Okay, of course, because listen, I'm bringing years of experience, and when I mean years of experience, I mean continuous years of experience, because there's a difference between 1 5-year experience or 5 1-year experience. There's a vast difference there. But just a correction though, I'm not only the CEO of the National Environment and Planning Agency, I'm also the government town planner.
Mm-hmm. Do you have, in terms of capacity at NEPA, enough people to do the job in your assessment, to do the job adequately?
Well, you never do have enough resources, but with technology, with partnership, adequate technology, partnership, networking, and the use of new technologies coming in, such as artificial intelligences, we can use those to make our processes more effective and efficient and give quality to the Jamaican public.
Mr. Francis, help me here. You did say a while ago that you're also the government town planner. Is this a setup that was there under Mr. Knight, or is this a new
No, Mr. Knight was both the CEO and the government town planner as well.
At the same time, one and the same time.
You remember what happened is that the National Environment and Planning Agency is a merge of 3 entities. So the Town Plan Department, the NRCA, and also the Land Development Utilization Commission.
Mm-hmm. You said you are going to make changes. Ricardo's question about the lack of enforcement. NEPA had developed a reputation for talking and doing very little, no teeth, like a paper tiger. It has powers, but it has been reluctant to really use those powers. Specifically, what will NEPA be doing differently under your watch, Leonard Francis?
Well, thank you for the question. No, the reality is that we need to ensure that we comply with the relevant laws, processes, and standards and policies and other regulations that are guiding us. And because what we want to do is that we want to ensure that the entire agency quality management systems are upheld. Now, as an incoming CEO, what I've done immediately is that I've asked for a review of all our processes, and I'm actually on that. So the team is actually doing that right now. The other thing is that, sorry? Go ahead.
Is it fair, Mr. Francis, to say, as the director of NEPA's Spatial Planning Division, you'd have been part of the leadership team?
Yes, I was in part of the leadership.
And for how long?
Well, I have been a director for several years now. And
several years could be 3, 4, or more like how many? A decade? More?
Well, it's over, how long is it now? Probably over 5, probably close to 7, 8 years, around that. And I can tell you, under the Spatial Planning Division, we have done tremendous work, because before I took over, most of the development orders that were done and plans were done were outdated. What we have now is that the entire island is now covered by development orders that can be used to guide development.
Mm-hmm. The strategies you outlined at the top of the interview, you talked about the use of AI, you talk about partnerships, you talk about capacity building. Those aren't new ideas. Surely NEPA would have known for years now that those things were required. Why wasn't that being done before?
Well, I cannot speak to that because there are movements towards
But I thought
that.
you just told Cliff that you've been in leadership for more than 5 years.
What has happened is that the agency has moved towards that. And what we have now is that we have built out our framework in the sense now that it can now act as a springboard for me to take over and do what is required. Now, I'm bringing to the job an increased amount of energy, a determined drive to succeed, honesty, a total, if you want to call it 2020 vision, and I'm bringing my networking skills along with my training experience that will help to get the job done. Also, what I'm also bringing is that I have a vast network of what you might call the residents that we hope to bring on board to assist us in ensuring that enforcement and monitoring is done according to our standards that we have established.
When you say, did you say residents? Meaning what?
Yes.
Meaning
We
what?
believe that we can build partnerships with the residents, right, within the communities to assist us. We just do not have all the resources in terms of humans and in terms of technology to what is required. So the residents actually live within the various areas. It's our intention to expand the network and to provide these residents with necessary training and tools to ensure that they can assist us as best as possible.
And how would you want them to assist
Yes.
if they see something happening?
So let's take the most recent fish kill, in the vicinity of Jericho on March 2, 2024. What would the residents of Jericho do in a situation like that from your
All right.
perspective?
So otherwise, I'm reporting this fish kill. If they are actually trained, what they could do is that they could have gathered samples for us, in that we would have had samples that we could analyze. So sometimes when we are called and we actually reach, you would understand that the evidence has deteriorated, or the chain of custody we're trying to establish to allow us to take a successful case to court. Sometimes we just do not have the adequate evidence. But with residents trained, and we are saying, listen, we'll be negotiating with the various universities to train residents in the various spots around the country so that they can indeed help collect samples, make necessary calls, make contact where it's necessary, and also discuss ideas that we can actually use to improve our processes.
Mr. Francis, you're on the job. You've been on the job for a few days now?
Yes.
Right. You are aware that there's a fire raging at the Riverton City Dump?
Yes, I'm aware.
What do you know about it so far?
All right. So what we do know is that the fire itself started, and what we have done is that we have mobilized our network at NEPA along with the other partners. So we are at the moment having discussions in respect of actually issuing a joint press release. We're doing that. Our air quality team has been mobilized in respect of to be able to analyze the air quality and what chemicals are otherwise there. And we are also, as part of our long-term plans, looking on ways in which we can ensure that we do not have a continuous situation like this. As a matter of fact, what we have instructed the GIS unit to do is that we have asked them that they should now identify all the hotspots within the country, 1. 2, they'll be gathering data on the various type of incidents. 3, we'll be looking on the time of day, the time of year, and the periods where these incidents actually occur. And we'll be gathering data on the magnitude and all of those. What that will do...
Hold on, before you tell me what that will do. So NEPA wasn't doing this previously?
Yes, there are certain aspects that were developed. So what we are actually doing now is that we are actually putting everything in what we call an interactive GIS platform that will allow us to be more predictive and proactive. So we'll be able to tell you that at this time of day, this time of year, we can expect this will happen. And what we will do is that we will dispatch enforcement officers, mobilize the community to say, based on the data we have, that is accurate based on the standard errors we are using and based on the inferences we will be drawing using SPSS or other packages, we expect this to happen.
So let me ask, just a moment, let me follow up with him. Mr. Francis,
Yes, sir.
the Riverton fire, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Isn't this part of the long-standing problem of the breach of the environmental permit to the operators of the land, the dump?
Well, what has happened is that we know, yes, a permit was issued, and I know we have been in dialogue with with the various stakeholders and the owners of the permit. And we know we have had discussions, and we have actually come up with various solutions that we are now trying our best to implement over the past couple of years.
But isn't that the problem, Mr. Francis? A lot of dialogue, no enforcement.
All right, but the good thing is now we have had the dialogue. We have had the
that you've been having now over a couple of years.
Couple of years?
Now ready to move
More
forward.
than a decade.
I can tell you that.
You're not ready to do what?
Move forward.
How?
Well, there are several plans that are there that I'm not sure if I want to discuss them now, but I can give an idea. One of it is actually looking on converting some aspects of the area and looking on waste to energy proposals there, actually reducing the size of the landfill itself, and there are various other programs in terms of enforcement that I cannot go into now.
So the two you just mentioned sound more long-term.
Well, we have been having discussions on those for quite some time. As I said to you
More
before,
than 5 years. Cliff says
we are
closer to a
now
decade.
And more.
We are now at the position in which we can move forward with these plans.
When you say move forward, what do you mean, sir?
To look the additional financing, actually finalizing the plans that are laid out, and actually ensuring that we have implementation in short order.
How long you been at NEPA again, Mr. Francis?
Well, I have been at NEPA for quite. I actually came into the town plan department that was actually merged with NEPA.
How many years ago is this?
Well, I came in government in 1990, actually.
Okay.
That was a town plan department in which we're actually focusing on land use planning.
Therefore, you ought to be aware that this problem at the Riverton dump has been going on for more than 20 years. You know that.
Yes, but what I can tell you is that we have a clear plan of action moving forward.
And do you have enough enforcement officers to ensure that that plan comes to fruition?
No.
All right. Well, look on it this way. I will reassure you that what will happen is that in the coming months, you will start to hear some of the plans and actions which we plan to take.
No, but specifically I was asking about the number of enforcement officers. And I asked that because the CEO of JET, the Jamaica Environment Trust, Dr. Teresa Rodriguez Moody, she has welcomed, for example, the recently announced increase in fines for polluters. But she's concerned that your agency does not have enough human resources, specifically the enforcement unit. You don't have enough people to actually hold people to account.
So we do have 23 officers at present, but as I explained.
And how much do you think you'd ideally need to do the job?
Well, as I explained to you before, right? We believe that if we can leverage a partnership, right, and we have started to reach out to various groups to assist us, because there's no way you're going to have an enforcement officer every block, every river,
Fair.
every mountain. That's
fair. So, all right. So let me understand the resident situation. So is it that you're going to be contracted to NEPA?
No.
So you're relying on their goodwill?
Not only goodwill. We are putting together a program in which, one, we are looking on various incentives. We're also looking on various persons, because what I found out is that most of the residents, they are saying, listen, we want quality in our backyard and we want to help you.
Right, because they rely, for example, on the river for their livelihood.
Yes, they want to help us. And the reality is this. We just need to ensure that we can interact with them and they can help us in a responsible manner.
Mr. Francis, I submit to you that that's not a problem, you know. Your problem is that you're government and government not going to enforce anything against government.
No, don't say that.
But that is the reality.
And particularly because NEPA is in a ministry that's also geared towards economic growth and development,
yes,
and has to do with things regarding buildings and that kind of a thing.
That is your problem. You're conflicted.
Gentlemen, sustainable.
You can't discipline your boss.
Gentlemen, sustainable development is about all of us. Sustainable development is about economic aspects, environmental aspects, social and cultural aspects, and each of those aspects are co-equal, and we need to depend on all of them.
No, we get that, but we're saying that over the years, that balance has not been struck.
Well, I've never gotten any instructions as an incoming CEO that we should not take actions against other entities. What I can tell you, though, is that what we will do is continue dialogue. But I just want to tell you something quickly.
Yes.
If there is a link between development, as you know, they are positively related in economics, between development and GDP, right? And as an incoming CEO, I believe that we can achieve development, increase GDP, meanwhile protecting our natural resources. I sincerely believe that. And I'm just saying...
Yes, and we all believe that. Yeah,
hold me
frankly,
to that. I'm saying hold me to that.
Mr. Francis, the question is the how. The how you're going to get it done. Because everything I've heard from you, I could hear it from Mr. Knight over the many years. The difference here is how. What are you going to do differently? Which doors are you going to kick down to make sure you can do it?
As I explained to you, we'll be using technology. We're refining our processes. We're looking at artificial intelligence. We'll be doing in-depth research and analysis.
And therefore, you're going to prosecute NSWMA, the operators of the Riverton landfill. You're going to tell them. You're going to tell them, no, one more fire under my watch in breach of your permit, and I'm going to prosecute you. Are you prepared to do that?
In terms of telling them that?
Yes.
As I've said to you before, I have no instructions that I cannot do that.
No, but the question is, are you prepared to do it?
Yes.
Well, let's look on it this way.
Yes or no? Are you prepared to utilize the powers you have to do something that has not been done before?
So when if the government approves a multi-million-dollar development and you find them in breach of environmental permits, will you be prepared to enforce the environmental laws?
Yes, we are always prepared to enforce. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, but I give you one. I give you one that is current. The fire is now raging at Riverton. It's quite a challenge, they tell us. Yes? Are you prepared tomorrow morning to look at the environmental permit that NSWMA has, that it has been more found to be in breach than in observance? And tell Audley Gordon and his team we're going to prosecute you.
Cliff, let me explain something to you.
Yes.
It's very important, you see, that we actually conduct the necessary research before we jump into doing things. Let me explain something. I remember when I was studying in Canada, they have similar issues, you know. But at the end of the day, right, where something is very essential like that, we need to work with them, okay? If tomorrow we do serve them a notice and suspend the permit or otherwise, what do you think would happen?
You tell me.
All of us, every day, we are generating waste, right? So the reality, the waste has to go somewhere. And I can tell you that we will be working, or to continue to work, with the National Solid Waste Management Authority to separate waste, encourage recycling, and that's where we are going.
The difference,
we have the blueprint.
The difference, Mr. Francis. The difference, Mr. Francis. We have been here for more than 15 years with that dump at Riverton. Constantly over the years. Right? And NEPA has not been brave enough to say to NSWMA, we have given you enough time. Get it together.
Well, Cliff, I've just become the CEO and government town planner of NEPA, and so you have never had me here before, okay? I'm just saying, let's work together and let us start to fix the issues. You're a very important stakeholder. You would have been with us at World Town Plan Day last year, November 8th. And you would have realized that the persons that were there were very important partners, and the topics that we discussed were some of these topics. The reality is...
Look at what... hold on, Mr. Francis. We have just had the pictures coming to us. What's happening at Riverton. And the people who live at Riverton, the people who live in Washington Gardens,
we'll have to breathe this
New
air.
Haven, Patrick City, yes? And at times that smoke goes all the way up to Red Hills, depending on the direction of the wind, yes? All of those people, yeah? Look at that fire raging. And this has been going on, Mr. Francis, for more than 20 years. And Jamaican governments, Jamaican administration, successive NSWMA management and leadership, who have not fixed the problem. And I'm saying to you, come tomorrow morning, are you prepared to lay down a marker and say, listen, enough is enough. Under my watch, we're going to force government of Jamaica to fix this problem once and for all.
As I said to you, Cliff, you have never had a Leonard Francis before heading the agency. As I've said to you before, the reality is that a process has started, and I'm just asking us to let the process continue and reach to the logical conclusions. I'm telling you, give us enough time, work with us, and we are going to have one of the best landfills within the Caribbean and within the world. No. I personally, when I thought if I actually personally went in that direction and I had consultations with the various directors.
Directors of where?
No, man, at NEPA. Right? They actually, I'm expecting to get some feedback because I'm actually on the program, right? I've not been able to access them as yet. So as I hang up from you, definitely we'll be moving towards getting the information. If you so desire, we'll try our best to share the information with you. Off the here, since I will not be on here.
Final question. The employee who had been interdicted in relation to the Charlie Mount development, fully back on the job yet?
Yes, man. He's back on the job. He's working very hard. He's integrating with the colleagues. And we are just trying to sort out some matters. But he's there and he's working quite hard and he looks very happy.
So what was the basis of the interdiction in the first place?
Well, that's a great question. Because what has happened is that I have requested the files, but I have not gotten a chance to actually get them and to go through them. Because as you can understand, I'm just on and I've not even had a chance to actually catch a breath.
So what
There
has been
are so many things happening, you'll be surprised.
So what has become of the internal investigation that NEPA had started?
When
has come to a conclusion?
When I get the files, Cliff, and I get a chance
So
to
you
go
don't know
through
if that
them-
has come to a conclusion, Mr. Francis?
Yes, Cliff?
Has it come to a conclusion?
Well, as I said to you, I need to just get the files, get a briefing on it, but I have
No, but the
personally-
question is about the investigation, not the specifics that will be contained
No,
in
I
the file.
don't. Honestly, I
You don't know.
I cannot answer the question, to be honest.
Really?
No.
You don't know whether
Because-
the internal
let me-
investigation being done by your own internal HR team has been completed? You don't know? And the man
No,
is back
I-
on the job, looking
Cliff.
happy?
Cliff, as I said to you, I requested a briefing.
Yes.
I've not gotten that as yet.
And I respect that. But you don't know whether you have asked your HR people, your legal people, what is the status of the investigation?
Cliff, if you want, you can call me back next week or tomorrow. But as I said to you before, the gentleman is there. I have actually been down there. I've visited him. I've visited the team.
And he's
spoken
happy.
to the team. Yeah, he's quite happy. He's integrated. All I need to actually to complete the process is to get the files together, and before I can have a discussion. It will be very
All right, we have your word. We have your word that we can call you back next week for it. I'll be following up with you.
Yes, no problem.
Leonard Francis is the new CEO of the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and I'm inviting you to visit NEPA because I'm just asking you to visit us. Just come and visit us.
To do what?
Well, it will be good, because I know you're a very investigative journalist.
No,
right?
and that's why I'm asking you to just walk and visit NEPA. What I want to hear, what we want to hear, Mr. Francis, is how you're going to use.
We are planning National Environment Week is coming up.
Hold on. What we want to hear is how you're going to use the powers you have to enforce. We have enough regulations on the books to enforce those regulations for the people of Jamaica, especially the people of the western belt of the corporate area who have been suffering for 20 odd years when they hear Riverton on fire, like it is now. That is what we want to hear. Don't invite me to visit. Invite me to say that, listen, here we're serving the notice of enforcement and prosecution and Audley Garden. We're going to where he's located tomorrow morning to say, listen, new time, yeah? New business now, new man in charge. That's what we want to hear, Mr. Francis.
Okay, sir.
We're out of time. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Francis. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good one.
Long time. Over 20 odd years. Yeah? The people of Washington Gardens, Riverton, New Haven, Callaloo Mews, Patrick City, all of that, Duhaney Park, all of that belt. Yeah? Another night dreading. Yeah? The asthmatics. Yes? Another dreadful night. And hope that the wind is such that it takes the smoke to the south.
Have we ever studied in terms of the illness profile in that area, respiratory illnesses? Have we ever studied that as a country?
I don't. Not in a long-term study. Yeah? Yeah.
We perhaps should do that.
Yes. After the break, Nature's Remedies. Tonight, herbs and fighting PCOS. After the break.
Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this pack.
So good, it's just so good. Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top.
So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
And we mean everything, not just houseware and appliances. At Zan Super Center, we have furniture too. Furniture for your living room, dining room, bedroom, kitchen, and more. Low on cash? At Azan Super Center, we have layaway plans. Don't delay. Come in today.
Azan Super Center, we're gonna make you smile. Azan Super Center, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Good God of mercy, hey. Good God of grace, hey. Lord of mercy, hey. Spurlina build up my confidence. Rastafari run the continent. This King Selassie, you pay the consequence. Don't get it confused. Lord, give me your buckler, Spurlina.
11 minutes after 7, it's time for the Nature's Remedies. But just before we get to that, the Ministry of Health and Wellness will be issuing an advisory shortly. They're saying that they expect a rise in air pollution as a result of what they're describing as an extensive fire at Riverton. The Environment Health Team is doing their assessment, they say, and they're calling now to hospitals around the corporate area to put them on alert for them to check their stocks. So the Ministry of Health and Wellness say they expect a rise in air pollution arising from what they say is an extensive fire at Riverton.
And there it is. It is a massive fire. They have been fighting it from shortly before midday today. It's now after 7. Yeah? And it is still out of control. Huh? So if you live in this part of the city, yes, and you are asthmatic, you have respiratory illnesses, you may want to stay away from there. Find somewhere for good tonight.
Yes.
Yeah? Because this is not going to be out anytime soon.
Yeah. And the health ministry clearly taking it seriously.
As they should.
Yeah.
Good. Well, welcome to this week's episode of Nature's Remedies. This is a program to educate you about the uses of natural herbs. Our expert guest for the program, yes, she's not a guest, she is the anchor of the program, pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. Good evening, Dr. Daly.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, Cliff. Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, listeners. And how are you today?
Doing very well. Can I tell you, Doc, at last week's program, week's program, the amount of messages I received about that, the gents were very, very concerned. And they were trying to pin down, they cut the segment, they're trying to pin down where they can get the different herbs because they're concerned about their little swimmers. So last week's episode was well received.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm glad that they're concerned about protecting the swimmers because we need it. And this week we're going to talk about the women.
Yes.
That are swimmers and their health and how they can go about it. So we have to ensure that the men are taking care of themselves so the women can take care of themselves and, we help each other out.
Polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. What is that?
PCOS. So we're looking at overall women's health. And PCOS is a big part of that, polycystic ovary syndrome. That's where the ovaries are producing some little fluid-filled sac that affects the woman's menstrual cycle. And sometimes it's so many of these little sacs within the ovary, it also affects fertility. So we're looking at some herbs. How can we enhance the female reproductive system? How can we ensure that we have that womb cleansing, so to speak, or strengthening as well by just our diet and some natural alternatives that we can use or complementary to help our female health.
And just to be clear, is this cancerous?
No, these are not cancerous sacs.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
All right. So walk us through these natural herbs that can help to fight PCOS.
All right. So we're going to I'm going to mention a few herbs and tell me which one you know. So pine and ginger, we combine them. That's going to be one that we talk about with women's health.
Oh, pine and ginger.
Pine and ginger.
Pineapple for the... Okay. Bulb went off there. Okay. So
there you go. Eureka moment.
There is method to that madness. All right, Doc.
So share it,
No, children might be listening.
Oh, come on.
All right. So the youngsters usually say pineapple for the vagina. And but I always thought it was just something that they say. But based on what Doc is saying and where she's going, it seems that there may be method. There may be some method to it. But go ahead, Doc.
So we're going to talk about pine and ginger.
Yes.
We're going to talk about piaba. Piaba, yes. Pennyroyal.
Yeah, I hear about pennyroyal.
Yes, vervain or vervine.
Yes, I've heard of that one.
Talk about the breast health as well and how we can manage, to keep our breast healthy. Marigold, dog blood. And then we can see how many more herbs we can get through. So let's go back to pine and ginger.
Yes.
So the pineapple, it is a fruit, but it's also a medicinal plant, and it's very good for the female reproductive system. And that's why you hear it in songs, you hear it in a lot of the talks that we have about vaginal health, it has a natural enzyme, the bromelain, that's found throughout the plant. It's significant in the pineapple, especially in the outer part, the skin. You can also have these extracts and beneficial compounds in the leaf. So the pineapple leaf tea is also significant. So pineapple should be a part of the female diet.
Pause for a cause, Doc. So is that why when they peel the pineapple, they put it in the warm water and allow it to sit?
Yes, and you extract the bromelain and all the phytochemicals.
See, Cliff don't know the things them in that. And my grandmother teach me that. And my grandmother teach me that. All right.
Yes, but combining it with ginger, that increases the potency and the anti-inflammatory effects that it can have in helping strengthening the uterine walls and keeping the vaginal walls moist and functioning at its optimum. It's also antibacterial, antifungal, so it also helps with overall health. So if you're not allergic to pineapple as a female, ensure you have it at least once a week. You know, try to have some amount of pineapple, whether it's a tea or you make some pineapple drink. I remember growing up, we'll boil your pineapple. You wash it, of course. Ensure you have some not too pesticide ridden on the skin. You wash it, you boil it, and you can boil it with some ginger, make some pineapple juice, keep it in the fridge, carry it to work. Or you can use that same ginger and pineapple skin, put it in your water bottles and have it throughout the day. These help to reduce yeast infection as well because of those antibacterial effects and any other antibacterial, antifungal effects, and improves overall health. So
Doc,
we have it in our backyards. Let's use that too.
So, Doc, a lot of us, when we make our pineapple juice, we peel it and do away with the skin. What you're telling us, no, you should blend the skin as well?
Yes, you boil it. We normally boil the skin. So we eat the pineapple and we boil the skin. And you can use the leaf, make tea. So don't waste your pineapple. It's a medicinal power right in your backyard.
Oh.
So the skin,
Yeah.
you boil it and you make, and that's how you pull out as much of the medicinal component by just heating it and having the water boil with for 5 to 10 minutes. And you can have a nice pineapple drink. It's like an iced tea. It's quite refreshing and medicinal power.
So, Boogs, pineapple for the vagina is a real thing. It keeps it moist and clean, apparently.
And Barbara Ellington on YouTube, Doc, says, oh, so at that, give me the glammy tea.
Oh, my Lord.
There you go. Yes, there you go. So that is good to add.
Wow.
So let's have it as a part of our weekly and daily.
Yes,
Not
Doc.
part of the pineapple.
All right, so we hear about the pineapple. Go ahead, Doc.
Yes, for our nettle, we spoke about nettle quite a few times. We'll always be talking about nettle. That's a stinging nettle. We know the stinging nettle? The urtica.
No, I don't know that one.
Stinging nettle is also good to have as a tea. It helps with the uterine strengthening. But let's go to piaba and pennyroyal. Now, for your piaba and pennyroyal, when you combine them, they help with fertility issues, right? Piaba, it's like mint weed. Its scientific name is Hyptis piculata, yeah. And they are herbs that helps with fertility, but if you're already pregnant, you want to avoid these herbs, the piaba and the pennyroyal. So you can have it as teas to help with cleansing the uterine wall, remove the blockage that may be there, and also improving the overall health. So the more you have some of these herbs as a part of your morning tea or your night tea, it helps to restore the reproductive health within the female system. We also have dog blood. Do you know dog blood or bloodberry?
No.
Bloodberry is, or dog blood, if you look at the plant, as the name suggests, you have some really bright red berries. It looks like blood. And though that plant is significant in helping with fertility, but not only that, PCOS, it's good with menopause and also menstrual cramps. So whichever issues happening within the female reproductive system, you can have some dog blood or bloodberry tea.
Oh, that's it on the screen there.
Yes.
Oh. And is this
I don't see it, but yeah.
this grows freely, or we have to go a specific spot to find?
In Jamaica, we are blessed to have it in the bush. You not too dry areas, but you'll find it in a lot of backyards. That bright red berries, the leaves are green, bright green, and you'll see a lot of dogs will go to it when they're sick and chew on it.
Oh,
right. That's why you call it the dog blood as well, right? It helps cleanse them, so they'll chew on it as well. But it's very good for hot flashes, menstrual cramps, and any blockage. You hear blockage of your tube, it helps to clear that as well. So that is your dog blood, or the scientific name Rivinia humilis.
Okay.
It's a scientific name for that.
I see Elizabeth saying in St. Mary it's there. Prosperity saying in Portland it's also there.
Yes. So across the island we can get some bloodberry or some dog blood.
You mentioned marigold.
Marigold, yes, or marigold, we say in Jamaica, or marigold. It's different from the marigold plants. It's a different family, however, it looks similar, and that's why it has that name. The scientific name is Faganetocola. Faganetocola. It's a long name. So it's Spagneticola. And with that marigold variety, it's almost vine-like. So it has those bright yellow flowers, sunshine yellow flowers. It's also called creeping oxeye, or we'll call it Singapore daisy, and so on, because it's very popular in that region as well. It's anti-inflammatory. When you look at your fibroid health, marigold or that version is very good with helping to reduce fibroids. Again, consistency is key. If you have fibroids, you have fibroids of so many different sizes. When you are diagnosed with that, it's much harder to get them out of the system, especially if they're large, with just herbs. So you want to ensure you go to your doctor, you take the advice whether you need surgery, etc., or you will get medications to shrink it. What you then do is complementary medicine. Ensure that you have teas and herbs as a part of your diet. And natto seeds, your fenugreek seeds, add them to your diet. Soak them in some water overnight. Drink them as a tea the next day or the next morning. And these being a part of your daily routine can significantly help to shrink and reduce the fibroids from the system. And even the cysts and the PCOS as well.
So we're drawing it as we would normal tea, like with a mix like a Cersei or a mint.
Yes, as normal tea. And for your annatto seed, you can cook with it. You know, you get that bright color in your food. You make your stews or add it to your rice. Saffron is another herb that's very good, or spice that you can add to your daily diet. And these phytochemicals, the phytonutrients, are very good with helping the reproductive system.
Your marigold is all over the place.
Yes, in fact, I see a lot of our YouTubers saying that they have it in. Somebody said it's in full disclosure. It's in Stony Hill. Leslie says it grows wild in the northeastern part of the island.
Yeah, the cooler part is there, and we find a lot. It's like a yellow creeping. They call it rabbit's paw as well. That's Rhodelia. That's another name you'll hear for that marigold variety.
All right. Next on the list,
we will then look at what about what's the other one that I mentioned? We said pennyroyal, we said piaba, vervine. Now for vervine, you have yellow vervine, not yellow vervine, you have blue vervine, purple vervine, you have woman vervine, and the man vervine. The male vervine is good for the male reproductive system, and the female vervine is good for the female reproductive system. When you combine your pennyroyal, piaba, and your vervine, that is a fertility tea that you can have throughout your preparation for pregnancy. So that combination really helps. Vervine is also good as a diuretic. It helps urine to pass through the system, strengthens your kidneys as well. So it's not just having these teas for the reproductive system, but it's like a holistic treatment. Your body is being taken care of holistically. And that's why it's good to have the habit of having those herbal teas, but also including your diet, a diet change, a diet plan that promotes health in the reproductive area as well.
Help me, Doc. How do we know the difference between the male vervine versus the female?
The stature of the flowers and the plant itself. The male vervine, it has a longer inflorescence at the top, almost looking like the penis as well. The female one is much smaller, and the color of the flowers. Female has that purple, pinkish, it's lighter color, while the male has that blue.
I have this.
Violet,
I'm sure I have this vervine at home.
Yes, I've seen this before.
Yes. I didn't know this is the name of it.
We just call it pretty bush.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It is.
So it's good for male and female reproductive health?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, and you just have it as a tea. Have it as a tea. You can also have supplements that are available that you can buy if you don't want to have teas. If you don't like hot teas or warm teas, remember you can always draw your herbal teas, put them in the fridge, or just add some ice. Make it into a nice iced tea.
Yes.
Add some lemon, add some pimento, and make it into a nice, flavorful tea that you can have on ice.
And when we're drawing these teas, in terms of the amount of sugar,
Don't need no sugar.
You don't need it. Yeah, you don't need any at all, Doc.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't need any sugar. Some herbs, the taste alone, you want to add a little sugar. If you're going to add any sweetener, honey is a good alternative.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're using sugar, please make sure it's brown sugar, as natural as it can get. Brown sugar, beet sugar, any one of those natural sugar, but no refined sugar.
Gotcha.
No white sugar,
Gotcha.
no icing sugar, no powdered sugar. Get your cane, your natural brown cane sugar.
Or honey. Honey is...
If you need it.
Okay.
If you need it.
Okay.
For palatability.
All right. All right. We're up on the first break, Doc. Hold it there for us. Let's take the break.
All right.
Good God of mercy, hey. Good God of grace, hey. Lord of mercy, hey.
You sat and made your list of priorities, must-haves and must-be's for a potential partner. But that was then. This is now, and according to the rules of relationships, being over 30 makes many women reevaluate their possibilities, position, and potential to find the ideal person. How easy is it to make it happen as time passes? Are the assets as valuable, or the pickings are now diminishing in returns? Why should a woman settle, or should she just settle down with the available aspirant? Join me, Rodney Campbell, every Tuesday from 9 to 10:30 p.m. for Affairs of the Heart, right here on Nationwide 90 FM. This Tuesday's topic, after 30 and dating, should women increase their standards or lower their expectations?
Brought to you by Supermed Pharmacy. Super happy, super healthy, Supermed.
The Olympic Games 2024 live from Paris in France, exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
The Jamaican star shines bright once again. Live here halfway through an Olympic final.
This summer, Nationwide 90 FM is coming in hot.
Jamaica to the blacks!
Nationwide 90 FM will be blazing as we bring you the games of the 33rd Olympiad live from the French capital, Paris. 16 fantastic days of competition in 41 sports.
Noveline Williams-Mills coming, McCrory flapping, her arms are waving, and Noveline Williams-Mills coming through for Jamaica's goal.
The station will bring you analysis and live coverage from the opening day of competition, Friday, July 26th to the very last day of action on Sunday, August 11th.
And some parchment, let's go! Oh, what a run!
Everything and anything Paris Olympic Games 2024 can be heard right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
It is a glittering goal for Sharika Jackson, and how they will celebrate that back in Jamaica.
We'll capture the spirit of athleticism. We'll narrate the Olympic fever, define thrilling moments, and report on the blood, sweat, and tears of the world's greatest athletes. Nationwide 90 FM is going to the Paris Olympic Games, and we're taking you with us. Tune into Nationwide 90.3, 90.5, 90.7 and 90.9 for live updates and commentary. We'll be giving the listeners a front row seat to witness excitement, triumph and memories.
And I think it was a clean sweep for the Jamaicans.
Stay tuned to Nationwide 90 FM 24/7. Experience the Paris Olympic Games 2024 right here on the Revolution in Media Nationwide 90 FM, your Olympic Center. Exclusively on Nationwide 90 FM.
Dr. Daly is a corporate wellness and corporate social responsibility CSR strategist. She is also a former program director for the College of Health Services at the University of Technology. She does seminars, presentations, and workshops on herbs, herbal care, medicinal food, nutraceuticals, and functional food. Dr. Daly also has a skincare manufacturing company, Nasore R&M Company Limited. They make all-natural skincare and manufacture for personal consultations, small businesses, hotels, and villas. She is also a natural products consultant. You can contact her via email at drdenisedaily@gmail.com for bookings and consultations. She can also be found on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Denise Daly.
Good God have mercy. Hey.
Welcome back to Nationwide at 5. We're in the segment called The Nature's Remedies. We're discussing herbs for polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS. Our guest is pharmacognosist Dr. Denise Daly. And I have a question for you, Doc, from YouTube. News commentator J.A. says, Doc, I have PCOS. How often do I need to consume these herbs to regulate my hormones?
That is it, the keyword, to regulate your hormone. So you want to increase this practice of the herbal teas every day. You want to have the teas every day. And another herb I want to mention that you want to add is wild yam.
Wild yam?
Wild yam, Dioscorea. You have a lot of wild yam creams on the market. You want to check the ingredient listing, make sure it's as natural as it can get. And wild yam creams are very good with helping to regulate the hormone. Because with PCOS, you have the androgens. That's a hormone we have in small quantities at women. Men have it in higher quantities. But if that level increases too much, that's when you have the little sacs being formed within that causes PCOS. Mm-hmm. Wild yam cream, once you obtain one of your wild yam creams, then you want to start adding it to the points where it can absorb into the body. So it's used outside. You can behind the ears, near the breasts, near the hips, and you do it every day for 3 weeks. You rest during the menstrual cycle week, and then you continue. Normally it takes a while, as per usual with natural remedies. You have to be consistent because the body is identifying where it needs to lower or to normalize the hormone, and it cleanses. So about 4 to 6 months is the timeline it normally takes for some of the symptoms to be significantly gone. Mm-hmm. So you get your wild yam creams, you get some of your herbal teas daily, you improve your diet, add your pine and ginger with some turmeric. Turmeric helps to brighten the color, but it's also anti-inflammatory and medicinal, helps to shrink some of the tumors and cysts that would develop in our bodies.
Yeah. I have another one for you. Can you ask her to repeat how to use fenugreek? Fenugreek?
Yes. Fenugreek. Yes. Fenugreek seeds. It's like wild hay again, where it's grown. It's called like wild hay. So it's very good. Fenugreek, we can get some water, warm water, soak the seeds overnight or for the day, and then you can drink them. It has a sweetish, it's a characteristic taste. Maple syrup, somewhat sweetish, so you can use it in baking or making smoothies with it. But fenugreek seed is good. Your what's the other herb? Sage. You can cook with your sage, or you can drink your sage as well. Add it to your diet. Add it to your herbal blends that you use to season your vegetables or your meats or your soups. So those can definitely help as well.
Mm-hmm. We're of course taking your calls, 630-937-124, 618-8255, and we have Richard first. Good night, Richard.
Good night, and good night, Doc. Question: some of these herbs, they don't give you a direction what percentage to use. How would I know what percentage to use?
General rule is once it's a dried herb, you want to use 1 teaspoon in 1 cup of water. So that's roughly the size of a tea bag amount. Now, if it's a fresh herb that you're picking and it has leaves, it depends on the size, but once you pick the leaves and you crush it, it should be about 1 teaspoon, 1 cup of water, and that's one of your herbs you can have on a daily basis.
Understood. And my final question, Doc, have you ever come across anybody who have any allergy to do these herbs?
Yes, you have quite a few persons, and remember, herbs have the flowers. You have persons allergic to pollens and different species of plants. Once you have that allergic reaction, you want to avoid the plants. And that's, again, is one of the reasons. If it's the first time you're having the plant, you have it in small quantities. If you're using it externally, then you put it on an area that you can observe to see if there's any change in your skin. Is it causing itching or redness? And then you can know to avoid such herbs because you're allergic to these.
All right, thanks for enlightening my ignorance.
Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Richard.
On YouTube, Doc, our person is asking, sugar cane juice good for you?
Sugar cane, yes, it has a lot of nutrients, your minerals, natural minerals and vitamins, as naturally you can get it if you're making it yourself, or again, look at the ingredients. What other additive is there? But sugar cane juice is good. In moderation, you don't want to spike the sugar level too much, but it's one of your natural drink that you can have.
And in particular for women, for the PCOS?
Overall, it provides us mineral and vitamins, the sugar cane juice. Mineral and vitamins.
Yeah. 630-937-124, 618-8255. Those are the numbers to call. Richie, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Richie.
Special good evening, Doc. Doc, our plan was to ask you to go into the topic from last week, but you went there. But before I mention my point, I'm talking to you, Rico. Last week, you asked the doctor about what the sperm count is like. The sperm look like. And says it's yellow. But it might be yellow if you don't let it out for a while. But you let it off in...
What is that? I'm sorry, I'm getting a feedback.
You're getting a feedback.
Yes, go again, Richie.
I'm saying, last week, you asked the doctor what the sperm should look like.
Healthy sperm, yes.
Healthy sperm. And says yellow. But it will be yellow if you don't let it off for a period of time.
No, Richie. You have to call us back. I don't know. I'm getting a feedback. You're making it difficult for us to hear you. So hang up and call us back. All right? Sorry about that. All right. Yes, Doc.
Yeah. Yes. So we can now talk about some herbs that help with aphrodisia, the sexual drive in women. Some of these that we've mentioned also help, but scents, essential oils play a significant role in getting the woman stimulated and ready for copulation, right? What do we mean by essential oils? Those scented flowers or plants or herbs, they play a significant role. So for lavender, you have ylang ylang, you have clary sage. Having that massage or a diffuser or just boiling them in some water in the home helps and acts as an aphrodisiac. So you have your teas, you have your scents, a nice massage also helps to stimulate the female reproductive system and gets ready for copulation.
All right, we have East Central on the line. East Central, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Hughes. Even Mr. Ricardo. Even Doc.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, man. Doc, what is the main purpose of Spanish needle?
For?
Spanish needle.
Spanish needle?
Spanish needle, yes.
Okay.
Spanish needle is good for the kidneys because it acts as a diuretic. It helps to flush out toxins or any compound within the body. So that's one thing that it is good for. It also helps with your, what do you call it? The blood. When you want to enhance the flow of the blood, it also helps with that. So it helps with balancing and provides that not aphrodisiac, but the diuretic effects within the body.
Okay, all right, that's it then. Doc, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Ricardo.
Yes, East Central.
You know, so I have a big work come up tomorrow.
You have one big work?
Yeah.
What kind of work?
I work from Duncan's Parish Court tomorrow. Yeah.
Where you down there?
I go to work under the first firearms act, first offenders.
Nice. As in, what specifically are you going to do?
I'm going to report.
All right.
All right, then. Take care.
All right, East Central. All the best. Rob, good evening.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen and lady.
Good evening, sir.
Doc.
Yeah.
If I about herb by the name of raw moon, what's real purpose of that?
Say it again. Raw moon.
Yes.
Raw moon, yes. Raw moon is part of our herbal medicine preparations. Now, anti-inflammatory, it's good with pain. So it's very good with pain, and it's good with the liver. There are quite a few research going on with raw moon, but I know that is one of the main things. We add it to some of our herbal blends meaning our root blends, our tonic blends as well, because it gives some amount of aphrodisiac properties. That's a raw moon as well.
What's the scientific name for it? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't remember, but I can look it up.
What about the ram dash along?
Yeah, man, we talked about that last week. Women can drink it as well. It's very good.
Dash along. All right.
Yeah, that's the Damiana. It's very good for women as well, Damiana or Turnera. And I think that tea is very good. A story was told with the donkey weed. Donkey weed is also good for women. Making that tea, putting it in, and you're just having it an hour before your date night. That helps to stimulate, and that aphrodisiac moment comes out. Yeah.
All right, Doc. Thank you.
How do you ingest the raw moon, Doc?
Raw moon, you can have the tea, or you can make it as a tonic. That's where you put the roots to. After you boil it, allow it to ferment. So it's a part of some of our tonic drinks that we'll have on the market.
Okay.
Have a next one here for you, Doc. Someone's asking if there are any herbal treatments for vitiligo.
Vitiligo, yes. It helps to regenerate the skin. So like nettle. Nettle helps with the skin, and castor oil. But overall, it does not. It just lowers how it looks. It doesn't really remove it totally, because it goes beyond just the skin, the outside of the skin.
Yes.
Right? It goes right back to genes and hereditary. So once it's triggered, you just want to maintain the look and the health of the skin. So having those olive oil and the castor oil beans and helping to keep the skin moist as much as possible.
Yeah. I see Barbara Johnson on YouTube asking, what about elderberry? What is that, Doc?
So we have quite a few temperate plants. So plants that we don't have them as much in Jamaica. If we have them, they're not as popular. For elderberry, that is a great herb for women, especially during menopause or during that transition period. Red raspberry leaf tea, also a very good one to have, whether it's for menstrual cramps, hot flashes, or menopause overall. So if you're during your menstrual cycle, you want to have some red raspberry, your elderberry. You also have red clover, your black cohosh. These help. If it's menopause time, you want to have these as a part of your regular diet as well, or your habits per day, because these also help. Oat straw. You can have oat straw as an extract, or you can have it as a tablet or just a tea. Oat straw tea is also very good with enhancing the female reproductive system.
All right. So Prosperity says, Doc, I have a family member who is suffering from failing kidneys. Can you please say what treatment is recommended for her? I don't know if you'd want to venture a guess there, Doc, or perhaps they should go to a doctor specifically for that one.
Yes. Yeah. So again, herbs work slowly. Now, when you're in an emergency case, failing kidneys, huge fibroids, etc., you have to consult your doctor. Get the doctor to do all the diagnostic tests, hear the treatment. You're still having your food, you're still having your meals, and that's where complementary medicine comes in with natural remedies. With kidneys, your dandelion enhances the function of the kidneys, dandelion tea. Some persons will have it like coffee, where if you're having your coffee, instead of coffee, you have some dandelion root tea or the dandelion seed tea. Moringa enhances the function of the kidney significantly, and it is a mild plant that you can have every day. Dandelion, it's a stronger plant, so you have it every other day, or if you have it for a week, you'd rest the following week, and so on. Never have herbs with your medication. So if you're on medication, always ensure it is 2 hours apart from any herbal tea or supplements that you'll take, because the herbs need to work. Your medication must do its elicit its effect as well. So that's important. Improving your diet, but also consulting your doctor to ensure that overall health. So complementary medicine, integrative medicine, holistic medicine is looking at the best approach to obtain full health.
They're coming in fast now. I have a couple more. Go ahead.
We'd love to hear from the women who are having issues with PCOS. Yes, we're focusing on PCOS tonight. All right? So I want to hear from the ladies.
And here is one. Can you ask the doc about the use of spearmint tea for PCOS?
Spearmint tea?
Is that spearmint already? Yes, spearmint, yes.
Spearmint is good. It's a part of the mint family, the mentha. Piaba, pennyroyal, spearmint, these have similar phytochemical profile. They're within the family. So it does help to soothe. It's a milder version of the piaba and pennyroyal. Right? So again, having it on regular or combining it with some of these other herbs increases its effect over time. Again, consistency is key when you're looking at natural remedies.
Good. Petal, good evening.
Good evening, Petal.
Good evening.
Good.
Evening, Doc. How you doing? How you doing, Mr. Hughes?
We're good. We're good.
Nice. Good to hear that. Ricardo?
Hi.
We miss your morning time, but...
Dina can call me them hours, yeah, man.
Let me not follow the same way.
All right. That is it. That is it.
You know, I don't leave the station. So I'm here every time.
There you go.
Doc.
Yes.
Bitter apricot nut. Is there something like that?
The apricot nuts, yes.
Yeah. Bitter? It's bitter?
I've never had it, but I know it's consumed.
What is it good for?
The bitter apricot nut, I'm not sure of its medicinal properties. So we could look that up and then give you some more information. I know as a nut, you have monounsaturated fats. So it gives you a lot of your good fats that your body needs. And that also helps with improving the function not only of your brain and also of your hormonal health.
Okay.
That may be one of the ways in which it helps the female, but I'm not sure of its medicinal properties.
So I'm giving you homework because I need to know.
Yes, yes. All right, I'll write it down.
It looks like almond. Does it look like almond?
Yes, it has that look, the nut itself, the small nut.
Okay, so I'm asking you.
But it's bigger.
I have family members that have the issue with the PCOS, but I missed what you said they should take. What kind of herbs you said? I missed some of them.
We have piaba, pennyroyal. We mentioned pine and ginger being a part of your regular drink or teas with some turmeric, if you have access to that as well. We mentioned oat straw. You can have some oat straws, a tincture or pills and tablets. I didn't mention this one, but aspera plant or devil's horsewhip. We have it all over Jamaica. Excellent tea for PCOS and menstrual health overall. We know the devil's horsewhip.
How would they take these?
Teas. You can't go wrong with a tea, tablet, or tinctures. So once you have them as a tea, 1 teaspoon in a cup of water, that can be a part of your daily routine.
Pennyroyal is the one that has the flowers, that grow the flowers?
Yes, some little white flowers. And when you pick the leaf, it smells like mint, somewhat like a mint.
Yeah. I saw you were showing one with a purple...
Vervine. I think that was the vervine, yes.
Vervine.
Oh, that's vervine?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we have vervine. Yeah,
Yes.
vervine common. I didn't, when COVID time, we had a lot of vervine because they were saying vervine and the purple leaf is good. Yeah, but you said vervine good for the PCOS though?
Yes, that's the vervine tea as well. Or if you crush it up and add it to your salads and your stews.
Really? All right, I'm going to try.
All right, Petal.
There you go. Thank you.
All right, have a good one, Petal. Richie?
Yes, ma'am, I'm back. Doc, you mentioned about the nickel. It is a coach. It's a coach. It's properly they did it in the hills. No, it's very good, and it's very high in mineral, extremely high.
Yes.
So that's
including
just courage?
Yeah.
Oh?
The nickel is a coach.
Me no want that then.
No, man. That's why I tell some ladies use it for growing their hair.
Oh?
Yes, man.
Very good
It's a
for
coach.
alopecia. That's
Yes.
when the edges are
Yes.
going and are gone.
Yeah.
Very good to soak some nettle in some oil, which is coconut oil, olive oil, and make a nice nettle oil paste for the edges. Grows back.
Yeah.
Stimulate growth.
They asked about the kidney.
Yes.
Dandelion is dandelion, but it's 4 different types of dandelion.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, the one that you see that this is in America, that one is made in lab, it doesn't have any use. But you have 4 in Jamaica. Because, for example, I cultivate the original one. That's what I use for kidney. Yeah, I cultivate that. It's 4 of them in Jamaica. They all look alike. 2 of them have a yellow and mauve color.
Yellow flower.
If you go on Google and they show one says Jamaican dandelion, it doesn't have any use. The one, our next one looking much like it, but the seeds are bigger. That one is not too bad. But you have 2 which is green. They look alike, but the original one is the main one. That is the one that is pure for kidney.
All right, Richie, I want to squeeze in some more before the time goes. All right, thanks for the call. All right, Doc, IQ is asking the blend up between melon skin and papaya skin, if it will help those who may be suffering from, let's call it, premature ejaculation.
Papa skin, I would tell men to avoid papa skin because the papain in the papa is not for men to consume on a regular. So I wouldn't say it's a blend that would help.
Thank God me not like papaya.
Right? So having it in your fruit salad is fine, but it's not for continuous consumption because of the high papain that's in it. Melon skin, I know we've seen where it can be edible, but it also has compounds that too much high toxicity and it should be avoided. So that's why sometimes we just throw it away. That's fine.
But the papa,
so no, I wouldn't recommend the melon skin and
like
papa
him,
skin.
no fight.
hold on there, the papa, I love my papa. So
Yes.
which part of the papa you know for eat, Doc?
But never eat the seeds. The seeds.
No, I don't eat the seeds.
Yeah. The papa itself, you can have your papa as a man. High quantities of papaya is not ideal for the male reproductive system. So have it in your fruit salad, have it in your smoothie, but it's not a full favorite food that you'd have like a banana or orange every single day in high or large quantities.
But you've done your work, so you can have worry. All right, Doc, here's another one. Does PCOS influence how early a woman will experience menopause?
It can in the case where it affects your overall hormonal balance. So that's how it can affect towards menopause. How your hormones are in, which direction it's in, the concentration of your estrogen, your progesterone, your androgens. There's so many different hormones. And the herbs help to balance all the different types. You have your FSH, your luteinizing. So the hormone imbalance can cause the early menopause. So that's how it can affect.
Yeah. All right. Luxley, I saw Luxley saying that this has been a very informative session, and he was saying thank you, Doc, for the information. And news commentator is saying that she hopes that more Jamaican doctors will alert their patients to these natural remedies. Okay, here's another one, Doc. Can papaya cause miscarriages?
Yes, it can. Again,
what
it can. Too much is not good. So speaking of miscarriages, we did have a few herbs if you're pregnant. As I mentioned, if you're pregnant, you want to avoid piab and pennyroyal. You also want to avoid like your black coish. You want to avoid your golden seal or saw palmetto and some of these high hormone type plants that stimulate the hormones. You don't want these herbs to cause you to have a spontaneous abortion, and that's why you just get those teas off. But having some of the herbs that promote your hormone balance and strengthen your uterine walls, like the oat straw or your red raspberry tea or your moringa. Moringa helps with creating breast milk. In fact, a lot of farmers feed the goats and the cows moringa, which improves the quality of the milk and the production of the milk. So you're getting high vitamin and minerals from your farm animals with that. The same happens with humans when we increase or we have moringa tea. You get a lot of vitamins and minerals, and it also helps with milk production. Sarsaparilla root has a lot of iron. So having some sarsaparilla tea, that also helps to promote. But there are some herbs you avoid during pregnancy because you can have that spontaneous abortion.
All right, Doc. I'm not sure if I like how this end up though.
No, well,
this is fast becoming one of my favorite segments of this show.
Okay, great. I love that, Ricardo. And just before we end, Kegel. Women, please remember to do some Kegel exercise. Men, Ricardo, Cliff, you know what a Kegel exercise is?
No.
That's the one that keeps the vagina tight.
Yes. So Kegel exercises
Cliff,
are
me
good.
a school you tonight. Me a school you tonight.
There you go.
Teacher, student, a student.
So Ricardo, yes,
Front of the class.
They're good. They're good. To strengthen the pelvic area for women. So it's basically where you would tighten by, well, in Jamaica we call it, you're quinting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Me know about the quinting. About Kegel.
The scientific name is Kegel exercises. So carry the Kegel exercises, just pretend you're trying to take something up with the vagina, and those muscles will help to strengthen. You often do it after childbirth, natural labor, do a lot of Kegel exercises, or overall you're doing your daily exercise, do some Kegel, strengthen the vaginal walls, and keeps your vagina healthy and ready.
Okay.
There you go. Healthy and ready.
Dr. Dennis Daly, pharmacognosist. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thanks, Doc.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me. Have a great night.
You too. Look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday evening at 7. Thanks to all of our callers and our YouTubers. Look at them going off. Yeah? On the YouTube. Donovan Walker said, poor Cliff. Thanks to our producer. Yes, Dana Davey, and of course our technical operator Andrew Anderson, and members of the news and production team. Thank you so much. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Yes, school me tonight.
School you tonight.
Have a good evening.